Welcome one, welcome all. It is time for Northwestern versus Penn State in Big Ten plus baseball action. It's yours truly, Peter Ferrari, alongside Noah Kaufman. Noah, they had two exciting games yesterday. They split the doubleheader. Northwestern was victorious in the first one. Penn State came away victorious in the second one. Timely and precise hitting is what was the difference in both of those outcomes.
Yeah, for the Wildcats, Jay Bashirs has been red hot of late, hitting .442 over his last 12 games, and his bat stayed hot in that game one, walking it off with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth on a clutch hit. Penn State responded in game two. Great pitching, great hitting. It was a big bounce back for Billy Gerlot, who snapped an 0 for 21 streak with a 2-run single in the ninth for Penn State to provide some insurance runs. So in this game, who's going to get that clutch hit? It could be either team. Two very competitive teams through the first two games.
Will Northwestern go back to above 500, or will Penn State have something to say about it? We'll find out shortly on Big Ten Plus. It's an exciting 53-degree late morning. I hope you had your brunch or are getting ready for lunch, as Noah Kaufman and Peter Ferrari here for a beautiful day for baseball. The wind just coming in slightly toward home plate, and we are going to have an exciting Big Ten Plus matchup here between your Northwestern Wildcats and the visiting Nittany Lions of Penn State.
Yeah, Peter, a big rubber match here as we look at these two teams coming in the middle part of the Big Ten Conference. Both these teams really would love to make the Big Ten tournament at the very least after a slow start to non-conference play.
Sure.
They both put themselves in decent position to do so. You look at Northwestern coming in 3-2, looking to win their second consecutive Big Ten series to start Big Ten play after a surprising road win against Indiana, and Penn State hanging around 3-5. A win here would put them at 4-5 in really good position going forward. So when we look at this game specifically, huge one for both these teams going forward this season.
Looking at the defensive lineup for your Northwestern Wildcats, center field's going to be O'Donnell Calarco at first base, Bashirs at second, the other Calarco DHing, Fontes right field, Pinkston at left, Livermore shortstop, Santini catching, and Bion Kina at third base. And who is going to be on the mound for the Wildcats today? None other than Comstock. Noah, what do you got on him?
Yeah, Grant Comstock making just his second start of the season. The young for the young right-hander, first-year player for Northwestern. This is a Wildcat team that has gone to an opener-heavy type of look on Sundays these last couple of weeks. A team with two consistent starters has looked for something to work on Sunday on the mound, and they're going to turn to Comstock here for just his second start of the year. Don't necessarily expect him to work deep into this game, although he's capable of doing it. More likely that they use him for at least one time through the order, try to get a good couple innings out of him and move on from there.
The Nittany Lions come in trying to make Northwestern fall below 500. Their lineup is as follows: Harry, Piancentino, Wood, Bartles, Steele, Spiegel, Pitaro, Gerlot, what player we talked about earlier, and Cooper is going to round things out at second base and last in the lineup.
Yeah, when Penn State has had problems this year, it's been because this lineup is a little bit too top-heavy. They've got some real big boppers at the top of this order, Peter, but when it comes to the bottom of the order, when they haven't contributed, the Nittany Lions have really struggled. That's something that changed in Game 2 yesterday, was a huge part of them securing that win.
And we're ready for first pitch. Bunt pulled back, and ball is the call. And again, welcome to Miller Park in beautiful Evanston, Illinois. Comstock starts in the stretch, delivers outside, 2-0 the count.
You know, more and more of these young pitchers, Pete, now going toward that stretch-only look. Comstock, a guy who has been used in relief for the majority of his outings so far this season. Just feels comfortable in that stretch position. And when nothing changes, when a runner gets on base, sometimes that can really help your rhythm as a pitcher not change either.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, things always change in sports, and especially that of baseball. Some of these players working a bit quicker than you may have seen in the past, but nonetheless delivers another inside fastball. It's 2 in a row to bring the count to 2-2 for Jay Harry, the sophomore, for the Nittany Lions. Waiting for Fontez to make his way back into right. 2-2 count for Harry. Chopper bounce foul. Good left-handed pickup there. One of the Nittany Lions just, throwing out the left hand. Nice crowded attendance today. Kids Day on a Sunday. They get to run the bases later. You can jump out there with them, Noah?
I probably will not, but hey, crazier things have happened. You never know.
That was a throwaway pitch. Full count for his first batter of the afternoon. Or I want to say afternoon, late morning. It is early afternoon for those of you Penn State fans on the East Coast, so we'll go with that.
Right.
We'll go
exactly
with that.
Right.
Chopper, slow roll to second, throw it over to first. That's going to be a safe. Infield single. To start things off for the Nittany Lions is Harry, as Comstock not able to get there, didn't really need to make an attempt. Trying to make a move was Bashir's, and it just, the pace of the ball allowed a runner on first.
Yeah, Bashir is a player who has spent time at a lot of different positions along the diamond for Northwestern, most notably a pitcher, two-way type of guy who has experience coming off the mound to try to make that play. So trying to make it at second now for Northwestern and unable to do so. I mean, look, Harry has a lot of speed. That's going to be a tough play for any second baseman to make, but an important leadoff man on for Penn State.
Leadoff man on, as mentioned, Piancentino, the righty outfield out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Johnny takes a big hack for strike number one.
Piacentino is a guy who they really want to get going with the bat, hitting right in front of Matt Wood. If he can get a little bit more consistent in that two-hole, not that he's been bad so far this year, but if he can get a little bit more consistent, they can really build to having runners on base most of the time for Wood.
Slight lead, takes low, close call. Nonetheless, 1-1 for Piancentino.
You can see they're right below the knees. I think that's the right call from home plate umpire Mark Winters.
Quick look over to first. We talked about the benefits of always being out of the stretch. Here is one of them. Able to hold on. Harry at first. Strong hack by Piancentino again. 1-2, your count. We appreciate those. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was just going to say, this is a Nittany Lions team that likes to run. Unfortunately for them, they're not particularly good at it. Harry is 2 for 5 on the year stealing bases. If I were him, I would be very careful about attempting one against a very good defensive catcher.
Chopper in the hole. Between short and third, 2 runners on. Nobody out. Good contact. So the first runner, Harry, again, infield single, decent contact, but, just not a lot of pace with that one. That one, strong delivery, picked up in the outfield, and nonetheless, we're here. Matt Wood, the junior, out of Pennsylvania, it has 2 runners on, nobody out.
Real tough luck for Comstock so far. Got 2 ground balls. It's exactly what he wants. He's working down in the zone. He's trying to get his defense to make plays for him. It's been a very strong infield defense for Northwestern all year long. But unfortunately, Penn State's hit him where they ain't so far. And now you've got the best hitter on the team up in a really favorable spot.
Paints the outside corner for a much-needed first strike. As you mentioned, it's not that Comstock has done anything wrong per se. I mean, good pitcher hits, just where the players weren't or couldn't get to on the defensive side. 0-1 your count. Short lead by Piancentino at first. And bunt, chopped foul.
And I got to say, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You're having a guy who hits 400 try to bunt 2 runners over here. You're the best hitter on the team. He's slugging nearly 650. This is one of the very best hitters of the Big Ten. And you're sacrificing it out in the top of the first inning against a first-year pitcher who has got to be feeling a little bit of pressure right now. If I'm Penn State, I want to pour it on right here. I do not like that call.
My only thought was maybe he was trying to get it to the third baseline.
But even still, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a chance to drive in a couple runs here with one swing of the bat. This is a guy who has 12 extra base hits on the season in Matt Wood. And like I said, facing a guy in Comstock who he doesn't look particularly rattled, but has to be feeling the pressure at least a little bit with the first 2 runners aboard here.
0-2, your count. Runners second and third, no outs. Infield single And that's going to be a pop fly out of play. Looks like it's going to land right behind the Hayden Clubhouse. Nice concession stand open for all the people today. I doubt they might be selling hot chocolate. I don't know. But with this weather, you know, don't have to worry about just staying, you know, warm.
Very nearly got our first chance to say he hit that ball all the way to Wilmette. Of course, as diehard Cats fans know, across Isabella Street here behind the stadium is Wilmette, that Evanston-Wilmette border right over here.
Blown outside. Seeing if he would chase. Wood didn't. 1-2 the count. Slight lead at second. Not really holding them on. They don't need to at this point. From the stretch, Comstock rings him up. Much needed strikeout for the first out of the ball game. What did he get him with, Noah?
Yeah, this is heat right over the inside part of the plate. Wood did not like the call. J.C. Santini has already proved in limited time here, the grad transfer, that he is one of the best framers in this conference, and he made that pitch look beautiful over the inside part of the plate. I'm not so sure that it caught the inside corner. Santini definitely made it look that way.
Oh, Santini, as you said, one of the best. But nonetheless, Bartles up now 255 on the year, 1 home run and 7 RBIs. He's 0 for 8, though, in the series, so some may say he's due. But nonetheless, you hope if you're a Northwestern fan, he's not yet. That one low and inside. Home plate ups, given the corners early today.
And I will just say, as a catcher, you know, Santini, what Santini's doing so well is when he moves to catch an inside pitch when his target is outside or vice versa, he freezes on contact with the pitch. He does a great job of not keeping his body moving, not keeping his arm moving after he makes that catch. Really difficult thing to do for most catchers when you're coming across the plate. And again, helped get another call on that first strike.
Comstock settling in a bit. Again, it's not as if he had, you know, bad pitches for the first 2 batters, just good contact where they needed to be. The graduate out of Belmont, Massachusetts, utility player Cole Bartles in the plate, a few inches off of the inside of the batter's box. And that one outside corner. So Comstock going inside to outside and keeping Bartles on edge. It's a 1-2 count, 1 out runners. First and second, Big Ten plus. Beautiful Evanston Sunday afternoon in April. Chops it foul to the right. That will go out of play. Bartles still sits at 1-2.
Only senior in this Penn State lineup. It's a pretty young team overall. Only 6 seniors are graduate students on the team. And Bartles provides that 4th-year punch in the middle of this order filled with juniors and sophomores.
Comstock taking a long time looking at second before delivery. Chop foul behind home plate.
And you can see over at second base, Jay Harry trying to time up the delivery of Comstock, seeing if he can get a read off of him. He has not varied his looks all too often with that runner on second. It would be ambitious to try to steal third here, but with 1 out, now's the time to go for it if you want to do it.
And Comstock, 16 pitches so far in the first inning. Healthy amount, as you said, we don't expect him to go many innings, so the Cats trying to get the most out of him as possible. Would like to come out of this unscathed, down in the dirt. Good save. Again, you talk about the confidence somebody like Comstock has to have knowing Santini's behind the dish.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just that difference in experience, right? Santini's been around for 4 more years than Comstock. You know, truly a veteran, showing the younger pitcher the ropes within this battery. And he picks up his teammate again there.
Comstock still looking at second. Delivers. That will slice foul. Hits the net. Again, the contact has been happening, but not at a high enough level that you worry about. All right, Comstock's getting, you know, hit really hard. Things are going foul, things are going low.
Well, 4 batters in, I don't think you can get too worried regardless of how hard he's getting hit, unless it's been 4 home runs. But Penn State certainly seems to be seeing the ball well. I mean, that was absolutely shot out of a cannon right there.
Well, I think without rain or snow, any condition is going to be better than what we've seen in the greater Evanston area these past few days. Again, yesterday switched to a doubleheader after 32 and snow on Friday. So a 20-degree difference. Really, he's got to have these hitters smiling. 2-2, still your count. Comstock still checking back to second. Delivers and hits Bartles. Right in the middle of the 3. Bases now loaded, 1 out. So force anywhere. And coming up to bat is going to be Steele, the designated hitter, and maybe not the situation you want to start with if you're Comstock, as looks like he's going to have a small meeting on the mound, Noah.
It looks like Josh Reynolds is coming out there. Kind of hard to see behind the hoodie, but
sure.
You can see this one. Breaking ball that just didn't break. Slipped out of the hand of Comstock. He didn't get around it the way he wanted to. And, you know, tough to say any hit by pitches feels good. But for Bartles, you'd certainly prefer to be hit by one going 70s as opposed to 80s.
Sure.
In the mile per hour category.
And again, not quite sure which coach that was jogging off, but
doesn't look like Reynolds to me. But
beautiful purple hoodies for the coaching staff and select players today.
That is a strong use of the word beautiful.
I mean,
you know, they're nice looking purple hoodies. I don't know if I go quite that far though.
How about this? I like the cleanness of both the home and away jerseys. Wearing their Sunday alternates, I guess you could say. The primary color on the top, home whites for the pants for the Wildcats, visiting grays for the Nittany Lions. I'm just trying to get you as much swag as possible, Noah. Like maybe somebody's going to run up here in the 7th inning and say, Noah, here's a Northwestern hoodie for you.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Strong hack, 1-1, the count. Steele, the utility player out of Shelton, is trying to bring home at least 1 run with 1 out. Low and inside, Santini dug that one out. What I was saying, though, Noah, is Comstock has to have a lot of confidence with Santini back there, knowing, okay, even if it's going to hit that outside corner, I have a chance for it being called. And right there, you know, pass ball scores a run, and he's on top of it in that case, nice and low. Another low and inside. 3-1, your count. Definitely a hitter's count for Anthony Steele.
Big first-year on first-year matchup early in this game right here.
And that one high, and it's going to walk home the first run of the ball game as Harry finds himself jogging into the dugout. 1-0, your score with 1 out in the first.
Yeah, this is clearly not where Northwestern wants to be. Still no action in the pen. It's early, obviously, but Comstock is on the verge of losing things here with the 2 hits, and then after a big strikeout, hit batter and walk back-to-back. Not where you want to be.
That one right over the middle of the plate.
And that's big for Comstock. He had been missing with that curveball repeatedly. That's the first one I've seen him throw for a strike, and he needs to be able to do that against this Penn State lineup.
Josh Spiegel. Bags still jammed. Beautiful second pitch. Spiegel out of Penn Trafford High School in Jeanette, Pennsylvania, the 6'3", 206 junior. Would love to add another run for the Nittany Lions. In the top of the first, 1 out still, bases loaded from the stretch. Comstock. Chopper to third, no tag, can they turn to Northwestern? Second over to first, wild pitch. A wild throw, excuse me. Not able to turn it over in time. Another run's going to score.
And another bit of a misplay from Jay Bashirs. He had a chance to turn that one not running all that well is Spiegel down the line. The Wildcats looking for the 5-4-3, and Bashir's relay was just way out of there. Like you said, a wild pitch. I mean, that thing was not particularly close to Anthony Calarco. Going to see it again here, and I think it's the right play over at third from Bianchina to go for 2 because they had the turn there.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see because Bashir's air mails the throw so bad, but I think they would have had the play on a good throw. Would have at least been close, but a run scores.
Yeah, it would have been bang, bang nonetheless. 2 runs, up to 2 outs. Runners first and third. Outside, Santini. Beautiful recovery behind home plate.
If you're Northwestern, you would love to get out of this inning only down 2-0. Big out to get right here. And this is that bottom of the Penn State lineup I was talking about earlier. How much can they contribute to the offense?
C.J. Pitaro looks at one right over the middle from Hamilton, New Jersey. Pitaro, 6'1", 195 out of Steinert High School. Sophomore. Bats left, throws right. Chopped up the middle into the glove of Comstock. He's going to underhand it to first base. And Comstock gets out of the inning. 2 runs on 3 hits. How the Wildcats answer back, we'll find out in the bottom half of the first on Big Ten Plus. Two nothing your score. Jumping to the bottom of the first with Ethan O'Donnell at the plate, but on the mound for the Nittany Lions, Stephen Miller, the right-handed pitcher, 6'1", 190 out of North Hills, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You know, as we see that first strike poured across, Miller is making the first start of his 4-year Penn State career. He's appeared in 9 games as a reliever this year and been pretty solid backing things up, but making a start for the first time. And again, similar situation at Northwestern. We don't expect Miller to go long. Now, if things go well, who knows how much Penn State has built him up for in terms of pitch count. But again, first career start. We expect to see plenty of relievers in this game. Yeah, I mean, he's bringing that reliever velocity out of the gates. There's no doubt about that. Pouring it in there.
Ethan O'Donnell sends that one to Wilmette. See, I'm picking up what you're putting down there.
There you go. Right across Isabella over there to our left.
O'Donnell, the sophomore out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Checks with third, and that is going to be a no call. 2-2 your count. That one high. One thing we can say is Miller works fast, Noah. They got a plane to catch this afternoon, so. Woo. Strikes him out looking. Miller, first strikeout of his first start, and we are up as Calarco is now coming up to bat to try to answer.
7 pitches, 7 fastballs for Miller. He is pounding the top of that strike zone with the heat, and he is heating that thing up. You don't have a radar gun as well. Just as I was saying, 7 pitches, 7 fastballs. He goes to a big sweeping breaking ball.
Calarco out of Wilmette, New Trier High School, one of the Trevians. Now looking at who is going to be batting. O'Donnell already 0 for 1. Calarco, Bashirs, the other Calarco, Fontes, Pinkston, Bianchina, Livermore, and Santini. The catcher is going to be batting number 9th. Noah, your thoughts on the lineup today for Northwestern?
Look, something I touched on as a potential problem for Penn State has come to fruition consistently as a problem for Northwestern, that top heaviness. The first 3 batters in this lineup have been very consistent, O'Donnell, Calarco, and Bashirs. And after that, it's been sort of a who's who. It's sort of a who's gonna have the breakout game today type of situation. It's can they be consistent throughout the lineup?
Calarco sends it into right. Gerlot sliding to a knee, cleanly gets the leather around it, and 2 outs for Bashirs, the sophomore out of Florida, the pride of Naples. Again, the star of yesterday's first game of the doubleheader. Let's see if he can get on base for the home Wildcats.
Yeah, really an excellent play by Gerlot there out and right. That ball was crushed by Calarco, who is the first swing that has really caught up to the heat from Miller. We'll see if Bashirs can continue the trend.
Bashirs out of Community School of Naples. Letter high. 1-1 the count. Miller from an exasperated stretch. Bashirs sends that one cleanly. Wasn't sure if it was going to roll. It did not. Bartles picks it up. And at the end of 1, Penn State 2, Wildcats nothing. Can Penn State end on? We'll find out on Big Ten Plus. Gerlot, Cooper, and Harry going to be picking things up for the Nittany Lions here in the top of the second. Pete Ferrari, Noah Kaufman, thank you for joining us in Evanston. As Gerlot only was 0 for 20 as he takes that one for a ball. And Noah, you talked about it pregame, but came out of the slump in style yesterday to keep the Nittany Lions ahead to get that second victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Gave them their 3rd and 4th runs, big insurance runs at the top of the 9th inning. I think today, Penn State looking for more than 4, which is how many they got in each of the 2 games yesterday. And off to a good start with 2 in the first, but they're going to need that consistent production throughout the lineup. Right now, that starts with this bottom 2, Gerlot and Cooper, if they want to get above that 4-run plateau.
Gerlot of Blue Mountain High School in Auburn, Pennsylvania. Chops that one foul into the purple dugout.
Wildcat defense pretty straight up around a little bit to the left in the infield. They have not done a whole lot of shifting through the first time through this order.
Chopper to third base. Over to Calarco. And first out of the inning. Comstock able to take a sigh of relief, getting a quick, easy out for the first one of the second.
Yeah, to continue what I was going to say, against the righties, they have not done a lot of shifting. Against the lefties, the Wildcats have pretty consistently moved around shortstop Tony Livermore, put him up the middle. And this is a Penn State lineup that has 4 lefties and a switch hitter in the starting 9. So after we see that nifty little play from Bianchino one more time, once again, swung a little bit around to the right for the 9th hitter, Cooper.
That one high on the take. Want to know your count, Livermore? Shading, I would say, a step or two to the right.
Well, the issue with shading too much for Cooper, we already saw him squared up on that one. He brings a lot of speed, and he's been a light hitter so far this season. You got to worry about the bunt.
That one out of play, also heading to the Hayden Clubhouse. 1-1 your count for Cooper.
With Comstock already at 41 pitches, be surprised if we didn't see motion in the Northwestern bullpen soon.
Cooper, 5'9", freshman, 195. Out of State College. Homegrown product for the Nittany Lions. The pitch coming back right over the booth.
And this is a really Pennsylvania-heavy team, all in all. You know, coming into this weekend, 25 out of 26 starts have been made by Pennsylvania natives for this team. That trend continued yesterday. We were 2 for 2, and so that brought the tally all the way up to 27 out of 28. And we've mentioned this lineup full of Pennsylvania natives as well.
Outside for Comstock, 2-2.
And Miller, of course, today makes it 28 for 29 Pittsburgh native on the bump for the Nittany Lions.
Big state, that Pennsylvania. It's really 2 states.
And the thing about Penn State, right, is you know, it's one of the biggest states in the country that doesn't have another Power 5 school within its borders. You know, there's plenty of other options for college within the great state of Pennsylvania. As I think Santini might have caught that off some part of his body. But if you want to go to a power conference, go play for a power conference team, there's Pittsburgh and there's Penn State.
Sure.
And it's a big state for just those 2 schools.
Yeah. They do have basketball powerhouse Villanova, not too far.
Absolutely right. I suppose, you know, you could consider the Big East a power conference in some sports. In baseball, I would certainly not give them that designation.
Sure.
But you can do it if you want to.
For
I'm
other
not going to
sports.
stop you. Oh, certainly. Certainly for other sports.
Foul again.
And I suppose Temple and the American would have something to say to me as well. Although, again, I would say, you know, get a little bit more depth in that conference.
How
in
about
terms
you,
of baseball.
Penn always.
Well, the Ivy League certainly does not want to be called a power conference in terms of sports. But yes, lots of great collegiate options in the great state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, for the baseball front, there is none better at the time than the Big Ten. Pleasure to be calling this game. And rings him up inside corner. He looks back at the official. Not going to change his mind. Beautiful strikeout by Comstock.
It's a situation here where Cooper doesn't seem to understand how close he's standing to the plate. I mean, this ball, it's not inside. It might be high. That pitch is certainly not inside. I don't care how well Santini catches it. Now, I mean, that's right at the top of the zone for me. You know, the rulebook zone says midpoint between the armpit and the belt. That looks like it's right there. For me, that's a strike all day. It's certainly not one that I'd be complaining about if I was Cooper, but I think it's that 2-seam action on that fastball. As you see a beautiful off-speed pitch right there from Comstock, who seems to be starting to get into his groove here. That 2-seam action on that fastball, it did run a little bit arm side, and I think that's what had Cooper out of sorts.
Jay Harry 1-for-1 infield single that went between the pitching mound, and that one going clean to first base. Making the run over is Calarco. And look at that, a clean second inning for Comstock. What will Northwestern do behind the plate? We'll find out on the conclusion of. Look at the beautiful play. Just want to see that again. Rolls it over to first. We'll be back. Big Ten Plus. 2-0 your score. Penn State going to the bottom of the second. Let's look at that defensive lineup for the visiting Nittany Lions. Again, Miller on the mound, Wood behind home, Pitaro, Harry, Cooper, and Spiegel manning the infield with Bartles, Piancentino, and Gerlach in the outfield.
And this has been a big problem for the Nittany Lions. This is one of the main reasons that this is still a team that's under 500. This defense has really struggled all season long, as Alex Calarco goes right over that one. 42 errors on the year, Peter. That's just a .960 fielding percentage for Penn State, and they've made 3 already this weekend. It's an issue that has cropped up in close games all season long for the Nittany Lions, and if this one stays where it is within a 2 or 3 run range, it could be the defense that makes the difference for Penn State.
Alex Calarco, the lefty, takes that one inside. Nice high stirrups with the stripes. I know, you're a big stirrup fan.
I am a big stirrup fan.
Glad to see that for you.
Calarco in general just cuts an imposing figure for a first year. The kid is huge. Oh boy. I think that one might have come up into the throat.
Yeah, let's hope
for Wood.
Yeah, let's hope Wood's okay. Trainer coming out. That took a hard bounce.
Let's look at it one more time here.
Yes.
Oh yeah, right up into the throat. That's just a brutal hop right there. There's not a lot you can do about that as a catcher. You know, they teach you to keep your chin down on blocks. It's really easier said than done. That's the hardest thing. Like, you see a lot of big league catchers have the head coming out. It's the hardest step in terms of the blocking formula. And if you're a catcher, you're just going to get hit there once or twice.
Sure.
And you got to hope it doesn't hit anything vital. And it looks like Wood has dodged that. I mean, obviously it hurts a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you. Having experienced that once myself, you really feel the pain there.
Well,
but,
and again, off the one hop, you don't know how high it's going to go.
No, it's impossible as the catcher, right? You're getting down to block the ball. You don't know where it's going to go. You just got to get in front of it.
And bloop single into left, and Calarco is on. You almost felt Miller just wanted to get a clean, safe pitch over the plate after the short-term injury to Wood.
That's the thing, right? As a pitcher, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily the cause. Is Calarco did a great job inside-outing that ball. Pretty nice pitch on the inside part of the plate that he just served into left, like you said. But as a pitcher, when you see your catcher get hit like that, even though you know logically it's not your fault, it's hard to not feel at least bad about it, right? I mean, these are guys that have a really strong relationship. Wood is junior, Miller the senior. They've been together on this team for a while.
That one popped foul and out of play. 0-1 your count. Ruben Fontes at the plate.
But what Calarco did there is exactly what Northwestern's going to need to do more of, right? This is a pitcher who has pretty overwhelming stuff in Miller. That fastball's getting up there. It's hitting that 90 mark. We're seeing it out there. We don't have a radar gun, but I can tell you that with my eye radar gun.
Exactly.
And his breaking ball has been moving a whole heck of a lot. So you got to get the job done, get the ball in play, force this defense that has struggled this season to get you out. And that's exactly what Calarco did.
Is wearing the wristband as well. Again, first start to just get his signs down from the stretch. Runner on first, very short lead for Calarco. Fontes out of Bonita, California. Chips that one foul as well.
I will say, he's not really using that wristband. My man is getting the ball, and he is going. I love it. You know, he's near Chicago. He's stealing the Mark Burley legacy out there on the mound.
Oh, there you go.
One of the fastest workers of all time. And he is not wasting any time himself, Miller. Gotta love it.
Not even checking on the runner at first, delivering right over the middle. Strike out looking for Fontes. 1 out, bottom of the second now, and Andrew Pinkston is at the plate. Pinkston, the outfielder freshman out of Lovett High School in Georgia.
Pinkston has been a really nice surprise for me this season for this Northwestern team, making just his 15th start of the year. This is not a player who coming in Northwestern thought was going to necessarily be an immediate contributor, but he's shown a real ability to get on base. 446 on-base percentage. The power's not there yet. You know, he's a young player. He's got a lot of speed, and he knows how to get on base. That's what you want from a guy like Pinkston to really anchor the middle bottom part of this order. You can't teach the ability to draw a walk. Well, you can teach it, but it's difficult to teach it. When you have that good batter's eye, which Pinkston certainly has, it goes such a long way.
That one outside. I had the pleasure earlier this season, though, of calling a Purdue baseball game. speaking of this lovely conference of baseball. And one thing they are coached, and they made a conscious effort, is to go more in on the batter's box than in years prior. And what their coaching staff was calling it, another strike called there, is courage. They were saying, we want our players to have more courage, to get closer inside, because if you can get a free walk on a hit by a pitch. So a conscious coaching change at another team in Purdue. So something to note.
Well, here's something I'll say as the count immediately runs full on Pinkston. Northwestern's bottom 4 in the order have been hit 20 times among them. So certainly working, I'm not sure if it's as conscious necessarily, but a similar thing that they're trying to work with this bottom 4.
Absolutely. Chopper to second. They'll be able to turn 2 over to first, and Spiegel gets it in the Lions out of the inning. 1 hit on the board, nothing to call for. We're going to go to the top of the third. 2-0 your score on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back to beautiful Miller Park on a mid-50s afternoon in Evanston. Pete Ferrari and Noah Kaufman excited to bring you inning number 3. Comstock got out of the second unscathed, and now Piacentino is once again up. Check swing, that'll be called 1-1 with a strong single to the left infield last time.
Yeah, something I talked about in that first inning, Peter, was the inconsistency with which Comstock was locating that breaking ball. He fixed it in a big way in the second inning, and now he's coming out throwing strikes. Not falling behind in counts to these hitters, any Big Ten hitters really, it's just so crucial. And he's gone strike 1 now to 5 guys in a row. Just a huge departure from those first couple batters.
No, absolutely agreed on that. It's, you know, we talked about settling in and, you know, I don't want to say a rough first, as that one bounced back. Shout out to the outstanding camera crew here this late morning. Northwestern faithful thought it was there. It was not. 1-2 your count.
It's a great competitive pitch on 0-2, though. I think that pitch a couple inches off the outside corner is a perfect spot. You can entice a lot of guys to go after that, even if it's not breaking to that spot, just because they don't want to get called out looking.
Yeah. That one hit hard to center, but able to trail it down cleanly is going to be O'Donnell for the first out in the top of the third. You and I often on our calls, Noah, talk about defense, and I think Comstock's got to be confident in the outfield he has behind him.
Yeah, Northwestern has a lot of speed around the horn in the outfield. You know, O'Donnell can run down a lot in the center, in the right center and left center gaps. And Pinkston in left has above average speed for a left fielder at this level as well. You know, Fontes capable with the glove too and right. So it's an outfield that has speed to burn. It's an outfield that has worked together plenty this season, even though they're all young, with 2 first years in the corners and a sophomore up the middle. And that's what you want in a group. Northwestern has, at times in the past couple of years, hid sort of better hitters weaker fielders in their corner outfield spots. That's not the case this year.
Wind blowing in slightly, we'll say, so for one of the players on either team to get one out, gonna have to put a little bit more behind it than usual. Quite a few home runs in both of yesterday's games. That you caught here as well on Big Ten Plus. 1-1 for Wood, 0-1 with a strikeout. Off speed, outside corner for Comstock, no runners on.
Matt Wood's strikeout, by the way, back in the first, was just his 9th of the season. This is a guy who's had 113 plate appearances coming into this game with just 8 Ks, and Comstock set him down in a really clutch spot. He's shown flashes all day long.
And it ropes that one to right. It will stay in. Rounding first is Wood, and he will have a stand-up double with 1 out in the 3rd.
Hitter as good as Matt Wood is not going to be kept down for more than 1 at bat. You know, he got a little bit fooled, was looking off speed in his first at bat, got a fastball in the inside corner instead. On this one, he gets a pitch he likes and he drives it. This ball is hit very well into the right field corner. And all of a sudden, Penn State back in business.
I was going to say very Tony Gwynn-like numbers where it's just contact, 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 not a lot of strikeouts.
Right, Tony Gwynn-like numbers if Tony Gwynn was also the best power hitter on his team every year. So, you know, he's hitting pretty well, I think.
Sure. Shout
now,
out
I
to,
will say, in fairness to Tony Gwynn, Big Ten pitching is a little bit different from MLB pitching. A little bit. Not much.
Slightly.
But a little bit.
Bartles up, hit by pitch, right in the number 3 on his back last time up. About 7 or 8 inches off the inside of the batter's box and a first strike.
Now, how do you see the 7 to 8 inches? You got a ruler out there?
I don't, but I think about foot size and shoe size and then the width that they use for the geometric shape of the rectangle. I can keep saying words until it makes sense.
You know, when you said geometric, I wasn't really convinced, but then you said geometric, and I was like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. And we're now back, by the way, to just, you know, quick transition.
Oh, might as well.
We're now back to Comstock struggling a little bit more with that curveball location. He missed big time on that one.
Runner on second. Comstock looks over as he did the last time a runner was in that position. And that's going to be a pop fly to left, retreating. Pinkston going with the wind, took a few steps back, then had to pull himself back toward the infield, able to get that second out.
Like you said, the wind playing with that one a little bit.
Absolutely.
But Pinkston stayed with it. It hung up high enough that he was going to be able to run it down no matter what.
Yeah, if you look at the flags on this replay, it's blowing right, you know, almost pointing at Pinkston in left field. But nonetheless, walking an RBI for Anthony Steele last time up.
Best way to get get an RBI. Never had to take the bat off his shoulder.
Brings that one foul. Nobody warming up in the Northwestern bullpen yet that I can see.
They're stretching, but they're not warming up. One thing to note, by the way, about Wood at second base, for a catcher, really runs well. Yep. 2 triples this year, also has 2 stolen bases to go along with it. So he has speed to burn. Single scores him most of the time here from Steele.
Slight lead at second. Held on by Livermore. Santini, beautiful play.
That's got to be his 5th block of the game. I mean, they don't keep stats for catcher blocks. I think they should. Personally, I'm a little bit biased because that was something that I always yearned for during high school was the catcher block stat. But Santini has excelled in that category, especially with runners on second and third in this game. Saved more than 1 run.
Low and inside on the 1-1 count, moving up to 2-1. For Steele, very base defense in the outfield. A lot of space, though, along the first base line if he decides to pull it that way. Does so. Calarco walks it over to first. And that'll get the Wildcats out of the inning. Bottom of the second we go. 2-0 your score on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back. Bianchina up to bat. Just past first baseman. We'll look at some notes for Penn State. Wood, we talked about his prowess, and I know Northwestern was up to bat. He's one of the 2 Big Ten players with 10 extra base hits. He has 11 and less than 10 strikeouts on the season. So he's still only at 9 strikeouts.
Yeah,
but
and actually up to 13 extra base hits now to this series.
Exactly, thank you. Coming into the series, thank you for that.
Yeah, he has been so impressive this season for Penn State, and doing all that while backstopping this team behind the plate is just remarkable. Such a huge part of this team's success.
Yeah, Wood came into this weekend 3rd in the Big Ten with batting average.
But for now, I mean, this is the part of the Northwestern lineup that I mentioned how willing they've been to get on base, and that's been great. The walks and the hit by pitches from this bottom 3 in Bianchina, Livermore, and Santini. But the hitting.
Beautiful hit, raked to right field. Strong round of first to second for Bianchina. Beautiful piece of hitting there.
Yeah, it's just as I was talking about how much they've struggled with the bats. Bianchina immediately lines one into right field. So maybe I should talk more about it as Livermore comes to the plate. But Miller, had seemed to be cruising through too. Again, he's a reliever by trade. He's had a bunch of multi-inning appearances this season for Penn State, but he has never come in as a starter while in a Nittany Lions uniform. So working into his 3rd inning, which is something he's done before this season. He's done this season before, I should say, but never into the 3rd inning of the game. We'll see how that affects things.
Pop fly. Will Wood get there? And he will. So trying to be aggressive was Livermore on first pitch. Not able to deliver 1 out now. And warming up in the bullpen right now is going to be Sullivan for the Wildcats. Sean Sullivan.
It can't be Sean Sullivan. Yeah, they had the number wrong for us. It had to be Jack Sauser.
Jack Sauser out of U-High in Bloomington.
Yeah, it couldn't have been Sean Sullivan, of course.
I had LASIK knowing it, sometimes it fails me.
It couldn't have been Sean Sullivan simply because he pitched yesterday 5 innings. So, I mean, I suppose it could have been if Josh Reynolds really wanted to get fired within the next week. You don't want to run your first year out there after he just pitched 5 innings again the next day. I think as a coach generally, you don't want to do that.
I mean, Lester pitched in Game 7 of the World Series on short rest.
Short rest? Is it no rest?
Yeah, for
after 5 innings, though? And he also wasn't 18 years old when he did that.
Fair point.
But no, Jack Sauser, the most likely reliever to come in here for Northwestern. Comstock, who settled down really well after the 1st inning, but we talked all game about how, we're not expecting him to be in there for that long. But he's done his job through 3 innings so far. I mean, maybe you let him get through the order a 2nd time, but after that, it's certainly Sauser time.
Pop fly, easy pickup in center for Pisantino.
And Northwestern started to see the ball better. Santini got a lot of good metal to that. I was about to say good wood, and then I remembered. It is college baseball, after all. Good metal to that, but still not hitting them where they ain't, so to speak.
Talking about Coach Reynolds, member of the coaching staff since 2016. He's the interim head coach. Was serving as the pitching coach up until this point.
And what an admirable job Reynolds has done this season with this team. It really unexpected that he would be the head coach this year. Spencer Allen stepped aside in the offseason for personal reasons, and they promoted Reynolds to the head coach's role for this season, straight out of being a pitching coach. Obviously, he must have had conversations with Coach Allen. The 2 of them were very close, but can't be something that he fully expected, at least for too long coming into this season. And after a really slow start for this Northwestern team, they have turned things around in a huge fashion. 2-10 to start the season. Should not be understated how much they were struggling through those first 3 series.
Agreed.
And for a first-year head coach to have a young team like this Northwestern squad turned around as quickly as they have turned around is so impressive. All the way up to 13-13 on the year, and starting Big Ten play 3-2, just remarkable.
Well, not to mention the defeats early, as a power swing will send the Wildcats back into the dugout. At the end of 3, Nittany Lions 2, and Wildcats nothing. As we see this beautiful high and inside pitch, Wildcats couldn't catch up to it. We'll catch you in the next half inning on Big Ten Plus. Comstock still on the mound, Peter Ferrari and Noah still in the broadcast booth in Evanston at Miller Park. We are almost at afternoon Central Time, so I keep catching myself.
Almost there.
It's
we're
not,
almost there.
We're 3 minutes away. Based on the beautiful clock, the display in right field is second to none in the Big Ten at Miller Park in Evanston.
Huge pull side shift for Northwestern against Spiegel here. Second baseman Bashirs is practically playing, I mean, he's really playing directly behind second base over there in the infield. They are really expecting Spiegel, the big righty, to hit to the pull side virtually all the time. You know, we talked about the prowess of Wood. Spiegel has 11 extra base hits himself coming into today's action. 7 doubles, 3 homers, and a triple. So he is very capable of laying the lumber.
Pop fly. Will Santini get there? What else can you say? No words need to be said with a play like that for Santini. We talked about his prowess behind home plate. Noah on display, full display there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tracking this ball very, very well. Shading the sun, which is at a really tough position on that specific ball for him right now. It's pretty much right above home plate as we approach high noon, of course. Really impressive play.
C.J. Pitaro grounded out in his last at-bat, 0 for 1 from the left side. Breaks that one to second. Over to first, and a first pitch out. 2 outs now.
Comstock certainly making a bid to go longer than the 4th inning. I think the plan coming into this inning for Josh Reynolds was, let's get him through the order twice, and then we can move on from there. But he's been very efficient so far. One thing I've been super impressed with for Northwestern in this game, the defensive shifts have been on point. They've moved the defense around a decent amount in the infield specifically for every hitter, and so far they haven't been beat once. I mean, they're obviously playing to tendencies. They've got a great track record of that here at Northwestern in terms of, you know, doing that sort of research on an opponent and knowing where they want to play the defense on the infield. But it has really been successful so far in this game in terms of tendencies. Obviously, that's a bit of a luck of the draw thing. You can never be 100% successful in terms of defensive shifts, but it's a little thing that in conference play can really make the difference, because these are teams that you should know, you should have film of certainly, and should be able to do little things like that for that can potentially give you an edge.
Gerlot, we talked about, one of the stars of the second game of the doubleheader yesterday afternoon. 0 for 1 on a ground out to start things today. And ground out to third, and that's going to be quick work. 68 pitches for Comstock, Noah. might as well try to keep him out there. We'll find out, I suppose.
Yeah, the soft contact has been consistent from Comstock. We see another rollover grounder right here. Nifty little play from Bianchina at third, but it's that soft contact that Comstock has settled into after the first.
Calarco, Bashirs, and Calarco the second coming up in the next half inning on Big Ten Plus. New pitcher on the mound for the visiting Nittany Lions of Penn State. Here at Miller Park, a lefty, junior 5'9", out of Solderton, Pennsylvania, Noah, and he has been on the mound more than once this season for Penn State.
Jordan Morales making his 14th appearance of the year, the junior, and a nice mixing of the looks here for Penn State, right? You go from the big righty in Stephen Miller, big hard-throwing righty, to a guy in Morales who still got some pace from that left side, but a smaller guy, has more of a three-quarters arm angle, and coming from the left side. Completely different look for these Northwestern batters to see after 3 innings of getting used to Miller. I like, if you're going to go to a bullpen game type situation, this is the way I like doing it. Changing the looks on the hitters, not letting them get comfortable from at bat to at bat.
Jordan Morales, his career high in strikeouts came last year, May the 8th, against St. Joseph's with 9, so definitely has the capability to get a lot of strikeouts in one game. As we see a first strike in this at-bat. Lefty Calarco to .320 average, 14 walks, 7 dingers.
Surprised that they did not check that check swing. That was pretty close.
Yeah, sure
Wood didn't
was.
ask for an appeal. Interesting.
All the way on the ground to second, bobbled. And 2 Nittany Lions run into each other, hats on the ground. And runner Calarco safe at first. And with no outs, Northwestern has a duck on the pond.
What did we talk about when we first looked at this Penn State defensive lineup,
Yep.
Peter? This is a misplay. And they might call it a hit on the scoreboard. So far they have. But to me, this is an error. Calarco is out if you field this ball cleanly. He runs well for a big guy, but he doesn't run that well. And that is just a mistake over at second by Cooper, who's really in there for his defense. A play that he has to make going to his right. I mean, there's no bad hop. There's nothing funny about that. A play that he wants back for sure.
Yeah, Morales has to regain his composure. Did so with the first strike. And Bashirs breaks one into left. And runners on first and second, no outs. And
they have now gone back, by the way, and given the error.
They
They initially gave it a hit, but they have gone back and given the error.
Oh,
and that's
I agree.
and those defensive misplays, Peter, this is what they can spark, right? Because Jay Bashir is just such a consistent hitter, does a great job, just punches it through the 5-6 hole, exactly what you want. But all of a sudden now, like you said, new pitcher in Morales, the pressure is mounting. Now he has to recover to a dangerous middle of this Wildcat order. You know, Alex Calarco of late has not been swinging the bat all that well, but singled from the left side back in the first inning, and now up from the right side here in the fourth, looking to really do some damage.
Morales does look back at second base. Hops off the mound, and that is a balk. Absolutely. When he looked, didn't throw, and then hopped off of it. Can't pause like that.
This was close. This was close to me. I mean, it was an awkward-looking move, so I understand the balk call certainly, but we are going to have an argument here, and I understand why. I'm not so sure this actually was a balk, Peter.
Okay.
The move looked awkward, but if you look at it again, he's going backwards to second base. He steps behind the rubber with that lead foot. Let's look at it one more time. Watch the lead foot here. You know, he slows down, but does he ever stop before he steps behind the mound? If he never stops, that's technically not a balk. It's really, really close to whether he pauses right before he puts that foot down or not. I don't hate the call.
Yeah.
I don't hate it because it's an awkward-looking move.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that by the rule book that is actually a balk.
The comment I was gonna say, Noah, you and I are in lockstep as always. I was gonna say I want to see what his best move is right off the bat to keep Northwestern at bay. He kind of did it, but half did it, and I think again just that slight hitch. I think on the foot that was still on the rubber, as Calarco.
Yeah, they'll get you on the hitch. Again, if he paused at any point with his foot still up in the air, it is a balk. On that replay, I wasn't 100% sure. Obviously, the second base umpire, and today that is Joshua Shepis over there, is much closer and has a better angle on that than we do up here. It was certainly close. I understand the argument being made on both sides. And obviously a potentially huge call now with Alex Calarco. Has 2 runners in scoring position, although he does now have an 0-2 count, instead of just first and second.
You and I like to joke, if balk was on your bingo card, go ahead and check that one off for the afternoon. I can now say afternoon.
Right, there we go. Pass over.
And Calarco fouls that one, trying to stay alive.
Not quite as climactic as the last balk I was on the call for at this particular field, which was, of course, the walk-off balk by St. Peter's in the second game of that doubleheader.
Calarco 256, 2 walks, no home runs, 256 slugging percentage as well. 3 RBIs, like to see him just get some contact here, or a walk at that matter.
He's got a long way to go for that latter one. It's Morales just couldn't quite snap that breaking ball off the way he wanted to.
Again, nice clean shot between right center would get both of those Wildcats home and tie things up. As he does exactly what I said, at least getting one. They're holding the runner at third. No, I don't often get many things right in life, as I'm told, but that one was just a really good guess. There was so much room in there. A nice clean contact, just dropped it right over the outstretched glove of Cooper.
For the second time in 2 at-bats, we see Alex Calarco working inside out once again. He's working to right the whole way, and he takes an inside pitch, and he gets it on the barrel, and he just muscles it out to right center field. When you're as strong as Alex Calarco is, not everything has to be getting your hips all the way through it. Sometimes it can be getting behind the ball, pushing it the other way, dropping it where they ain't. And he's done an excellent job with situational hitting in his first 2 at-bats, and that's allowed Northwestern to tie this game up at 2.
We have a pinch hitter in the game, Steven Rustich.
And pardon me, I actually think the scoreboard says it's 2-2, but I do think it's 2-1.
It is 2-1. That's okay. Nobody's perfect.
I was about to say to cut the lead in half.
Yeah.
And I looked at the scoreboard and it said it's 2-2. I was like, oh. Yeah, I think they assumed that that second runner would score, and it did not.
I'd say, you know what, with having no outs, I think that was a safe call.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I like the
coach
hold
was
over there. I like the hold over
halfway to
there.
home and said, let's just hold.
Yeah, when you got a guy like the Shears who runs okay, but not all that well,
Yeah.
I certainly like the hold over there at third.
There was a play at the plate yesterday that didn't go in favor of the Wildcats, so I think maybe lesson noted. Again, Steven Rustich into the ball game out of Parkview High School in Lilburn, Georgia, the 6'1 junior from the right side. That one, and that's a passed ball enough to have the runner go to second. Beautiful piece of base running by the Cats for Calarco to make his way to second base, knowing that if there's any sort of errant throw, Noah, that could have been another run scored.
Absolutely right. Just the 4th pass ball of the season for Wood if they do indeed give him that pass ball. But still, 4, even a little bit too many for my taste.
One would not have thought that Morales would come in and have so much work to do, having such experience.
But still, all that experience, he did come in with a 4.58 ERA. He has struggled at times this season.
And that one is going to be pop fly to left, should be enough to score the runner.
No. He had to go back to third because he left early. That is a big mistake by Bashirs. Now, he did a good job of not continuing home and heading back to third, but he left way early there. Would have been called out on appeal. so instead had to go back to third, and that could be big. The tying run stays on third for the Wildcats.
1 out. Still open bag at first for Pinkston. Now Pinkston's got to show, okay, I'm going to come in, and this is what I have, lefty on lefty. But yeah, that was the tying score.
You can't really see it. Let's see from this angle here. As the ball is approaching to be caught, it's almost like Bashir's thought it was caught before it actually was, and you see him. He's not and then he gets an early start, and had to retreat back to the bag as we see the foul ball for Pinkston. And what a huge spot now for the first-year Pinkston. So it goes from second and third, no outs, second and third, 1 out. And now if you want to tie this game up in this inning, it's down to Pinkston. And if he doesn't get it done, a lot of pressure on Bianchina.
327 slugging. I mean, do you even see it like a bunt attempt here? As a check swing hits off the nub of the bat.
The thing with Pinkston is he's very capable of putting the ball in play.
Yeah.
You know, he does have 12 strikeouts on the season, but given the rest of this Northwestern lineup, very strikeout-heavy lineup, it's actually not that bad. And he's got a very good patience at the plate, but down 0-2, he's going to need to go ahead and put the ball in play. As Nittany Lions are sort of half in, half out here. In at the corners.
Outside corner trying to frame it was Wood. No call. 1-2 your count.
I was going to say they're in at the corners. Tyson Cooper's kind of half in at second. I'm not really sure what he's doing. He's like in a little bit, double play depth almost, but there's no double play. So we'll see what happens on a ground ball over there.
Pulling it up the middle, Wood checks back, and that's going to be an out for somebody.
There's 2 runners hung up there. Northwestern could make something happen.
Northwestern running home. There's now, what a rundown situation. Sprinting. Touchdown the left thigh.
I actually think Bashir's did a really excellent job base running here.
Yeah.
Didn't quite make up for the situation with the sac fly, but once he's forced to move off the base by the approach to third of the secondary runner there, which was Alex Calarco that time, he has to get Pinkston to second so that the Wildcats don't give a base up. And you see here, with him jumping around here, he forces Morales to come back and get him, and that allows Calarco behind him to get to third, and Pinkston behind him to get all the way up to second. You can see in the background there. So even though he still makes the out, Bashir's does going home, the Wildcats essentially don't give anything up because they still have runners at second and third. So a little thing, but potentially important base running if Bianchina can come through and get a hit here.
Yeah, Bianchina 1 for 1 on the day. A clutch hit would be huge here. Again, I mean, it still took a very textbook clean rundown to get the out, which included Morales, on his knees and having to reach out. So, like you said, good base running by Bashir's given the situation, albeit for all intents and purposes should be tied 2-2 if it wasn't for the base running error on the prior. So, But nonetheless, we are at Vince Bianchina. 227 with 318 slugging. Needs to just get good contact, drop it out of the infield, get that next runner home for the Wildcats. Knocks that one out of play to the right. Again, runner on second and third. And don't forget, Pinkston's got some speed there. And so if you get a good, not only a head start, they're not holding him on. If you get a good head start and a good placement of a hit, that might score 2.
Yeah, good chance it would. Nittany Lion outfield, very deep in center and left. A little bit shallower and right.
Strong hack, no contact from Bianchina. And just like that, Morales is at a 0-2 count and 2 outs now after what was a very dangerous start to this inning.
Yeah, 1 pitch away from getting out of it all of a sudden.
Yeah, let's see if the lefty can deliver. And he does. Penn State comes away with only allowing 1 run. Wildcats up to 4 hits. Morales taking a deep breath, Noah, in order to get out of it.
Yeah, he did a great job. Put the first 3 guys on base in this inning. Second and third, nobody out. And to get away with that with only 1 run allowed is absolutely where you want to be if you're the Nittany Lions.
Penn State add on to those 2 runs. We'll find out the next half inning on Big Ten Plus. Head coach Cooper having a few words for home plate umpire, but as you can see, did not necessarily like that balk call.
Yeah, he's railing against Joshua Shepis out there. He's trying to talk to him. He's being walled off by the other umpires. He's really displeased about that balk call. What I think happened there is he went inside, watched it again, and was even more mad than he was the first time after seeing the replay. Because, again, we looked at the replay on our stream. I understood the call at the time, but, again, we definitely did not see Morales clearly come to a stop or have any hitch before putting that foot down. It was just awkward more than anything else. And so he didn't like that balk call either. You know, arguably cost his team a run.
Easy play to first as Clarko mitts it.
We're going to take one more look at this balk from the last inning. Again, watch Morales. Awkward move back to second, but watch that front leg. Does it ever stop as he comes backwards to make this move towards second base, or does it just slow down? And it doesn't look like it stops. It just slows down. Again, that is not a balk as long as he doesn't actually stop and as long as he actually gets that foot behind the rubber to initiate that move back to second.
Yeah, if anything, and I'm just trying to reason this situation.
No, I understand the call.
I was going to say, if anything, maybe because the head then turned, that the second base official looked at the head turn, thought the body stopped.
Right.
You know, bang,
Right.
bang call.
Certainly. And look, those are the toughest calls to make because he's slowing down to try to deceive the runner, right? He's trying to make things look weird. But look, Jay Shear's getting a workout to start this inning. A couple balls right at him as Comstock continues to motor along. But, again, I do not think it was a balk. I think there's certainly a beef, a valid beef from Coach Rob Cooper. And meanwhile, Comstock, you know, we talked about going into the fourth inning. We were like, this man might not be long for this game. All of a sudden, he's picked up 5 consecutive outs on 10 pitches.
And only at 73 on the pitch count, as that was a much higher number for a third or fourth inning. But now, here you are in the fifth.
And all of a sudden, he's motoring.
Yeah, and you have 2 pitchers warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, Sauser's still out there. And they've added a lefty, it looks like.
I'll get that for you momentarily.
Well, there's only one lefty out there that could be out there for Northwestern. They only have one lefty on staff. It's got to be Parker Hanks. Unless, you know, there's a position player who's out warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, crazier things have happened, but 2 outs. for Piancentino.
And Northwestern is going to rue that missed opportunity in the bottom of the fourth inning.
That might come back. Well, I mean, we'll see at the conclusion of the game. Hindsight's always 20/20, but
right. Certainly, they seem to be hitting Morales better than they were hitting Stephen Miller.
Absolutely. I mean, Miller was pure heat, 4 out of 5 pitches.
And all of a sudden, Comstock, after rolling, as the count now moves to 3-0, is just like I said, Hanks and Sauser. Again, it's kind of easy to tell who the lefty is when there's only one of them.
It's like you checked your notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Piancentino 1 for 2. Comstock up to 77. Delivers, pop fly out of play. Single and a fly out for Piancentino.
Really interesting there on that 3-1 pitch. He was swinging away all the way for Penn State, even with Matt Wood on deck.
Yeah,
you would think they would really want to get somebody on base for him.
Tommy Molsky, the 6'1" freshman out of Northern York County High School in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. Warming up for the Lions. So action in both bullpens. 2 outs. Full count for Piancentino, and he drives another one overhead. Now, Noah, we have very secure netting in front of us right now. Is that okay for you? Do you wish you can catch a pop fly?
Well, you know, they used to have the netting on the backstop here just so that it went up, but not over the top. And it was nice to have the ability to catch a pop fly, but I will say there's a lot of small children here in the stands below us. I like the coverage.
And rings him up, sit him down as the one, the only, the pitcher Comstock for Northwestern has found a groove. That's the 3rd strikeout for Comstock.
Piancentino had some not so nice words to say heading back to the dugout. as he got caught looking on this breaking ball, clearly over the top part of the zone, and the Wildcats still trailing by just 1 as they head to the bottom of the 5th.
We'll be Tony Livermore up to bat for Northwestern. Cooper stays in the game, so there was some question as to whether or not he'd be ejected for, let's just say, his language.
You know what? There was a disagreement.
Yep.
There was a disagreement, and it was handled. Well, I don't want to say it was handled like adults because it involved one man screaming at another man from 90 feet away. But it was handled in such a manner that it was handled, and now it's over with. As we see Livermore squared a bunt there, couldn't get it down. But he's probably on thin ice. That's for sure.
Inside, strike called, no swing. I like the thought of Livermore to try to bunt, put it into play. I'm always a proponent, and fan of trying something different.
Yeah, exactly. Get on base any way you can. And that is not a way to get on base.
High heat by Morales. And I think a little bit of confidence after getting out of that last half inning, only allowing 1 run after a rocky start, and possibly settling in himself.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, great pitch by Morales. Just raise the eye level. Livermore, of course, cannot catch up to that. He gets the first out. But I want to go back to Coach Rob Cooper's sort of outburst one more time. You know, I think it shows. You know, we talked about it in the open. We talked about it throughout the game. Just how important this game is to these two teams, right? These are two teams that are battling to get to the Big Ten tournament, that are battling to be seen as factors down the stretch in Big Ten play in a conference in which historically they have not been as competitive. So for both of these teams, this is a chance to make it known that they are here to play with the big boys for this season. And they don't want to let opportunities to win Big Ten series go to waste.
I couldn't agree more. Again, with both teams trying to find their footing in Big Ten play. Close pitch, not called. 1-2 for Santini. Morales up to 23. Chopper to third. Over to Spiegel in time. The lefty snags it.
It's 5 straight outs now for Morales after putting the first 3 on, and starting to work as he works into his second inning here. Penn State would love to get the two relatively clean innings from Morales and turn it over to the back end of their bullpen after that.
Well, when you think about how your first out caused a base running error in the third, and then the second out was a rundown. When we look at who is in the pen now, Molsky is still there for the Nittany Lions, along with Derek Cece.
Yeah, Cease played second base in yesterday's doubleheader, but he is a two-way player. He's been used as a pitcher so far this season. This would be his second appearance if he does come into the game. And you saw him loosening in the pen, so a man of many talents.
Yeah, out of Plymouth, Pennsylvania, Derek Cece, the 5'8" freshman, 150.
That's Cease like Dylan. I can tell you're not a White Sox fan.
No, I was going off the Nittany Lions pronunciation guide they sent me.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have it wrong. I guess I'm too used to the White Sox pronunciation.
A lot of pitching injuries for the White Sox to start this season.
Yes, Dylan Cease is one of the only ones who hasn't been injured so far. He's done an excellent job. He did an excellent job yesterday in his first start of the season. Maybe Penn State saw that and they said, "All right, Derek, your name is 5 letters long. You have the same last name spelling wise. You know, maybe you can recapture some of the magic." Sure, that game was in Detroit, not Chicago, but
Fair.
close enough.
Speaking of former Wildcats making an impression at the upper levels, I know there was somebody you're familiar with, Noah, that got a nice retweet from the Northwestern Wildcats Twitter account.
And Sean Gusenberg, as O'Donnell, lays the wood to that one.
Sends it into right center, but able to get the glove on it is Gerlot.
We're going to have to delay the Sean Gusenberg anecdote to the top of the 6th inning, I suppose.
Thought it might have had a little bit more mustard behind it, but with that wind coming in, it just stopped right before the track. So going into the next half inning, Penn State still a 1-run lead, 2-1. Happy 8th birthday, Oliver. We'll be back, Pete and Noah, on Big Ten Plus.
Right-handed pitcher number 21, Jack Sauser.
He stood up in that little platform.
Tip your hat to Comstock, a very good performance starting today, and now on the mound, a pitching change. Number 21, Jack Sauser.
Sauser making his 5th appearance of the season, 7.71 ERA coming in for the big right-hander, and he's got a tough task ahead of him. 3, 4, and 5. But for Northwestern, another big righty, although Sauser's even a little bigger than Comstock, but does give a little bit of a change in perception, drops down a little bit more. Not quite a sidearm delivery, but he is low in that arm slot from the right side. Sometimes, unfortunately, though, that can be a problem when pitching against left-handed hitters, especially one as capable as Wood, who steps in now.
Checking his wrist guard out of Bloomington, Illinois, 2.5 hours south of Evanston. Outside corner called strike. And 0-1 the count to start things off in this half inning.
To close the book on Comstock, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. And considering that both of those runs and 2 of the 3 hits were in the first 5 batters of the first inning, he settled down really, really nicely through those last 4 innings.
They get to that in a second. Slow bouncer to first, running over. Sauser gets on the base. Out number 1 for the Wildcats, but not to say things were dicey off the beginning for him, being Comstock, but it wasn't easy going in that first inning, and the next thing you know, he cruised through the next few.
It certainly looked like things could have gotten ugly in a hurry. As we see Wood.
As we have Cole Bartles up to bat, 0-1 hit by pitch and a fly out. Some more action in the bullpen.
Yeah, Hank's continuing to warm for Northwestern, and he's being joined by Kellen Pate out there for the Wildcats. And as Bartles watches one, just to get back to our Sean Gusenberg anecdote, he would have been on this team this year. He foregoed his last year of eligibility in a Northwestern uniform because he was drafted by the White Sox in the 19th round. And Gusenberg whose bat was so consistent throughout his time in the his time with Northwestern against Big Ten pitching, has already shown that bat playing. He's worked his way all the way up to high Class A at Winston-Salem and hit a home run last night as a starting second baseman for the Dash. So, you know, we're all rooting for Sean Goosenberg. Down in North Carolina, but in the White Sox system, local product for the Evanston product.
Beautiful play in right field. Making it look easy for the Wildcats.
And that's Pinkston out there.
Pinkston, I was going to say.
It was Fontes, but the Wildcats have made a change defensively. After Rustich pinch hit, he came into left field, and they moved Pinkston over to right. And what foresight, because Pinkston, who has a little bit of a better glove than Rustich, made a very, very nice play out there on that one.
So, as we talked about that defensive change, Pinkston now in right and Rustich in left. Steele 0 for 1, the walk, ground out, and an RBI in his time up. Again, had that RBI on the walk in his first time up to bat. 2 outs, 1 ball, and 1-1 will now be the count. Gotta love when they slip in that defensive shift and the results yield that.
Exactly, exactly. Beautiful foresight.
Second base. That's another strike. Bashirs. Step and a half into the outfield grass.
You know, it's kind of funny, Peter. Bashirs is Northwestern's pitcher position player, and he's playing second base. And Cease is a pitcher position player for Penn State, and he played second base yesterday. So a couple of second basemen who moonlight on the mound for these two teams. It's not the position you would necessarily think would be the place that you would moonlight as a pitcher. I've seen a lot of pitcher first baseman.
Sure.
Maybe a pitcher corner outfielder. I have not seen a ton of pitcher middle infielders.
No, you're correct with that. Low and outside. As Steele brings the count full. Miller Park, wind coming in. Full count, 2-1 your score. Penn State would like to add some insurance. Not able to do so there. Sitting him down in a clean inning is Sauser for the Cats.
Beautiful job by Jack Sauser. His first inning in a little while, and he works it 1-2-3. Got the job done with some help on a fantastic catch out and right, and then that beautiful strikeout to end things.
Santini didn't have to move. Beautiful pitch. We'll go to the next half inning. Northwestern trying to claw back and tie things up and take the lead on Big Ten Plus.
Let's go, Tom.
Okay.
New pitcher. It's Molsky.
It is going to be Tommy Molsky. Tommy Molsky on the mound. Big Ten Plus, Pete Ferrari, Noah Kaufman. His first year out of Dillsburg. Coming in, career best 6 innings pitch. He won't need 6 here this afternoon. Noah, what do you got on Tommy?
Molsky was a starter for the first couple weekends for this Nittany Lions team. He's made 7 starts on the season, but struggled a little bit in that starting rotation. You see the 0-4 record, the 5.79 ERA, and was really hurt by his defense. Allowed 30 runs, only 18 of them earned so far this season for Molsky. So they move into the bullpen role, only his second appearance out of the bullpen of his young career, and hope that that can work a little bit better for the hard-throwing righty.
It's going out of play. We're just talking about some of the players for Northwestern that have gone on to play at the next level. As that one hits square, I believe, right above the right knee for Anthony Calarco as he makes his way to first base.
Yeah, Calarco will take the free pass, but some, myself included, might argue that it cost something. In this case, some pain right off the shin there, you can see. Luckily, it catches him a little bit glancing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty hard contact, but
I still
not
wouldn't want to
flush.
have that happen to me.
Oh, certainly not. Calarco is not one who wears a shin guard either, so could not
Inside
have
as
felt
well.
good.
Yeah, some Nittany Lion news. They have 2 players in AAA right now. Eric Mock, the pitcher, is in the Cleveland Guardians organization of Columbus. And Jim Haley, the third baseman, who ended his career at PSU in 2016, is part of the Durham Bulls organization. So 2 players in AAA for them.
Northwestern, outside of Jack Dunn in AA with the Harrisburg Senators, I do not believe has anybody in AAA in the minor leagues.
That one inside. They're going to call that one a strike. It was close.
And we're really at a critical period here.
Yeah.
Bottom of the 6th inning, 1 on, nobody out for the middle of this Northwestern order. This is the time for the Wildcats to make some hay. As you can see, a lot of movement from Wood, but it did look like that pitch caught the inside corner.
And Bashirs sends it to the left. And that one goes into the bullpen. Well, let's not forget that Joe Girardi had a little bit of affiliation. It's 8 hit by pitches so far on the season for Molsky. That's a lot.
Absolutely. more than you want, certainly, if you're a pitcher. And he has had the ball getting away from him plenty this year. 13 walks to go along with those 8 hit by pitches. He's allowed 3 long balls as well. It's been the location that has been the issue for the freshman when he has struggled.
Bashir's 1 for 2 single in today. Run down his last time on the pond. You can tell with that 1-2 count, he wants to make up for that. Stroke of a bat, he can give Northwestern a lead. Goes and chases that one. Thought he held back. He did not. And that'll be an out for the Cats.
Huge out for Molsky to get. Bashir's a little bit over anxious here. That pitch is not particularly close. In fact, it bounced in front of the plate and in the left-handed batter's box, and he clearly goes after it. Just a situation where Bashir's needed to have a little bit more composure at the plate.
Yeah, as I had mentioned, you could tell he wanted to make some contact. Chase that one, and that's going to be a pop fly. Wynn circling it back. Getting a clean mitt on it was Harry. And just like that, 2 outs for Molsky after a hit by pitch. And Rustich is now up number 13. 6 walks, 3 home runs. I'm sure they would want number 4.
Ball started out in short right field, came all the way back to second base. Heck of a movement, but you're right, Harry did a great job of sticking with it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Molsky has really calmed things down after the leadoff hit by pitch, doing a great job of staying within himself. Huge at bat for Stephen Rustich, who started out this season as an everyday starter for this Northwestern Wildcat team and has fallen out of the lineup over these past couple of weeks, but finds himself in a crucial spot here.
That one inside. That was called before, not called there. Rustich confirms with ump. 2-0 your count. Rustich would like to earn more playing time. Nice base knock would be a good step in that. Contact again.
Rustich never lacked for power.
Sure.
Led all first years in the conference in home runs last season. Already has 3 this year, even in more limited playing time. It's the consistency of that power that has been the issue.
Very slight lead at first. Rustich, check swing. He went, knew he did.
That slider is really diving
Yeah.
away from these right-hand hitters from Molsky, but still, Northwestern has got to do a little bit of a better job of recognizing it out of the hand. This pitch is more than a foot outside by the time it gets to the glove.
Geometrically speaking. Oh, and they caught him again. 2 check swings in a row. Is going to sit Rustich down, and that's going to end any sort of threat for the Northwestern Wildcats in the 6th.
Middle of the order for Northwestern had a chance with a runner on base. And a beautiful job by Molsky to set him down 3-4-5. Penn State needs some insurance runs bad coming into the 7th here.
Spiegel, Pitaro, and Gerlat going to be up. Let's see if Penn State can't get that insurance run, or will Northwestern hold that lead with 1. We'll be back shortly. Big Ten Plus.
Leading off for the Lions, first baseman, number 41, Josh Spiegel.
Spiegel at the plate. Utility player out of Jeanette, Pennsylvania. 1-run lead for the Nittany Lions. Takes outside. Close games yesterday, no, and we're getting another one here today. And it's surprising because before this weekend, the Northwestern offense had just been pouring it on with multiple 10-run plus games in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. The Wildcats had come in to this series actually having scored 7 or more runs in 8 consecutive games. They were really firing on all cylinders offensively. This Penn State pitching staff, which has struggled at points this season, and this Penn State defense, which has struggled for most of the season, have done enough to keep the Wildcat bats down.
Yeah, we talked about they won 7-6 versus Indiana, then 13-6. They also won their midweek game just a few days ago against the Flames of UIC 13-3, and that's not a team to, you know, take a second glance at. UIC's got a good squad in their conference as well. Changing conferences next year, but that's a story for a different day.
Right.
Beautiful cross of the plate. Yeah, you talked about his unique angle. It's not high, it's not low, it's kind of just mid-range there.
Sauser sweeping across. I mean, he's using that frame to his advantage. He can really get that ball out wide and then bring it back across the plate. Difficult look for a right-handed hitter.
Out into center and getting to it nice and clean for Northwestern was O'Donnell.
Sauser working into his second inning here. He's already gone through an inning and a third. He only had 2 1/3 total innings of work on the season coming into today, but he's been so clean through 4 outs. You know, why make the move to another pitcher?
And we talked about it for both pitchers so far for Northwestern. Comstock, once things settle down, I mean, 0s on the board for the Penn State offense since that first inning. That one's going to be a bit low. 16 pitches for Sauser. Strong swing, no contact. Pitar's been left on base 2 times for Penn State. So the most familiar with the base paths. Went a bit low.
Still double-barreled action in the Wildcat bullpen. Just in case. I think if Sazzer puts somebody on, he might be done.
Wood with a double and 2 RBIs for Spiegel, and Steele is what has been the offense for the Nittany Lions this afternoon. 3 runners left on base.
And still only 7 hits total for both of these teams as we work into the 7th inning. Since the first couple innings, the bats have really been quiet both ways.
Quick delivery. Livermore. Calarco. Out number 2. Clean infield play by the Wildcats this afternoon. I don't want to jinx it now as after I say that, but it's been a very clean, crisp infield.
Yeah, slight bobble here from Livermore, but that ball was hit hard enough that he had plenty of time, and the defense certainly has been solid for the Wildcats so far today.
Billy Gerlot up to bat. That one outside. Gerlot 2 at-bats and nothing to say for it. And again, it was an 0 for 20 slump before yesterday. So
I was going to say, we mentioned it. He was 0 for 21 before the hit yesterday. He was 2 for 26 coming into today. And, oh, boy.
he wanted to send that one
Back to Happy Valley.
there you say, I was saying.
It's in that general direction.
There you go, there you go. I'll do the geometry, you do geography. We got 2 courses down. And that one's inside, off speed. Kisses the corner.
Gerlot just looks lost up there. You know, 2 for 28 is 2 for 28 at a certain point. And I'm sure he plays a great corner outfield. But right now, he does not look himself at the plate.
Might be a circumstance where, you know, maybe you switch far outside and maybe swap as a defensive replacement, or you just want to ride it and you're saying, okay, you know, you're the bottom of our near or at the bottom of our lineup. We'll wait till you get out of it and make your contact, but
whatever it is,
yeah.
So far it's not working.
Rested on shoulder, kick, sends it to center. Now having to take just a few steps back as O'Donnell snags the pop fly. And just like that, Northwestern has their chance to tie this one up. Gerlot 0 for 3 now on the early afternoon.
Wildcats just 9 outs to play with, but their pitching has been excellent all day long. Since a 2-run first and any lines have been shut down, can the Wildcat bats make a difference though, Peter?
We'll find out what Pinkston has in store, and then Bianchina and Livermore. Wildcats due up 3 in a row, middle of the 7th, Big Ten Plus. to bat made his collegiate debut less than a few months ago on the 19th against UAB. Notched his first career hit against them on the 20th. He went 3 for 3 with a double against Santa Clara on the 27th of February. Now here 0-2 with a fielder's choice and would like to get on the base paths for the Cats.
Yeah, Northwestern needs to get something cooking. Bats have been quiet, and after that initial hit batter from Calarco, we've really seen Molsky calm down here.
Molsky inside. Thought he was going to get the call, did not. Close call. Great job by our camera crew as always. I know that's going to be chop foul. But again, always the unsung heroes of the broadcast, the producers, the directors, the audio engineers. We're very lucky to be working with this crew today, Noah.
Yeah, absolutely. They do great work. They do great work up here in Evanston. Everybody involved.
2-2. Pinkston trying to find a pitch he likes. That wasn't one of them, but good take.
He has worked deep into the count all 3 times he's been at the plate in this game. Did a great job watching that one up high.
That hits the dirt, and Pinkston will have the free pass to first base, jogs down, takes the gloves off. This is the type of momentum you wanted if you're the Wildcats, Noah.
12th walk of the season for Pinkston. He continues to keep that OBP high, and it's important to get a guy like him on base because of how capable he is as a base runner. 3 for 4 in stolen bases this season, and you now have speed through speed with this lineup. Pinkston at first, Bianchina at the plate, also pretty fast, so you can throw in all sorts of situations. Nittany Lions, in fact, way in at the corners to prevent against the bunt.
I was just going to say Pitaro.
And so Northwestern, they can do hit and run, they can do bunt and run, they can do bunt pullback and run. There's all sorts of options here in this situation with the speed.
And there was the bunt attempt as C.J. Pitaro came streaking in.
If you're Bianchina, you got to get that one down.
Yeah.
I talked earlier about how I don't like sacrificing outs too much in general, but in this specific situation, as Bianchina lucky, that ball almost came off his bat while it was in fair territory. Yeah. For the second time, I mean. But in this situation, when you're at the bottom of the order, you're trying to manufacture a run to get the game tied. I don't hate it, but you got to get the bunt down.
Yeah, and you could tell he's even trying to pull that first baseline, able to do so cleanly. There's your sacrifice, and almost a bobble at first by Spiegel, but nonetheless, Bianchina does the job.
Yeah, it's actually Cooper coming over from second to cover. He did an excellent job there on the short hop. This is not a good throw for Molsky over to first, and Cooper does a good job of sticking with it. That could have been disaster.
Yeah, it's such a good dig. I thought it was Spiegel. But yeah, correct. Cooper came over from second, and now you got Speed on second. And Livermore, 10 walks on the year, 7 RBIs, no home runs, but a nice single could score the runner from second as we have a quick meeting on the mound.
Livermore has been anxious today at the plate, to say the least. He has gone after a lot of pitches, been trying to hit the ball hard, and so far it has resulted in an 0 for 2 day. But he's got a chance to change it all here with the tying run 180 feet away.
Livermore, a strikeout on the afternoon. Beautiful pitch. Outside line. 221 on the year is Livermore. 250 slugging. Nice space in the middle. Shift to the right with shortstop Harry. There is that hit up the middle as we talked about, but able to get there.
And I got to say, I like that play from Molsky a lot, right? He looks back at second, and he sees that Pinkston is off the base. He could get him in a rundown, but is it really worth it as opposed to just getting the second out of the inning? And I would say it's not, right? He could have got him there, right? Pinkston's off the back. He could have got him in a rundown, made something happen. But instead, he just gets the second out, keeps everything calm, keeps the tying run where it is at second base. No need to try to do anything to try to do too much in this situation when you have the lead.
Long look by Molsky. Cooper retreats. Santini takes it. 14 walks, 9 RBIs, and 2 home runs. For Santini, again, the wind not in his favor, but again, plenty of space in the outfield.
It's another situation for Northwestern as Santini takes. Wow, I thought that was going to be called a strike. A situation for Northwestern that's very difficult because Santini is a great defensive catcher. We've talked about it all game long, right? But the bat isn't quite there. He's a 167 hitter. He's the definition of a glove-first catcher. So they've opted to not pinch hit for him, but it's a tough situation because if you pinch hit for him, obviously you lose your best defender. But it's a big spot to have a guy who's only hitting 167 up with the game potentially on the line here.
Yeah.
There's always trade-offs, right?
There are. And not to go, early 2000s Cubs, very Paul Bacco-esque numbers.
You know, you say not to go, and I don't believe you. I think it was to go.
It was.
It was to go.
Well, again, Paul Bacco is the defensive replacement at the catcher position behind Damian Miller on that 03 Cubs squad. Just to reference Major League. 167. The delivery outside. Good walk. 15th now for J.C. Santini. 2 ducks on the pond for the Cats.
The youth of Molsky showing through. This is a situation where you had to come to the plate. You cannot afford to walk a guy like Santini in this spot. On 3-1, you got to throw that pitch right down the middle. And now instead, you got Ethan O'Donnell, who came into the game hitting 340 up with the game on the line. This is exactly where the Cats want it. And we are going to have Rob Cooper coming out to the mound and potentially making a change here.
We talked about timely hitting that took place yesterday, especially with Northwestern with a walk-off. Who else do you want at the plate right now than Ethan O'Donnell? Again, he's 330 on the year, 16 walks, 6 home runs, but 23 RBIs. Just a beautiful number as now the Cats are all converging back toward the dugout. As there will be a pitching change, and we'll talk about that on the other side of this. Nittany Lions 2, Cats 1 on Big Ten Plus.
Pitching change for Penn State. Now on the mound, number 18, Nelson Millot.
Peter Ferrari, Noah Kaufman, Big Ten Plus, number 18, Mason Millot, the 6-foot grad student out of State College on the mound. Tied for 8th in Penn State history with 5 saves in the season. He's going to be looking for another one.
Yeah, he just has 1 this year. He's been less in that strict closer role. Actually started 4 games this season and has done a lot of middle relief in addition to that back-end relief. So he's capable of doing a lot of different things for you on the mound. But here, Penn State charging him with getting out of a jam.
Well, not only that, because of that long roll, I would not be surprised to see if they stick with him maybe if it gets out of this for the remainder of the game.
I think I'd be surprised to not see Jaden Henline get onto the mound at some point in this game for
Fair.
Penn State, but we'll see. He got a tough call on that first pitch. Did him a lot.
At outside, he gets the call he wants
Wow.
there.
Wow. I would have traded those two pitches.
1-1. He ranks 4th all-time in Penn State history with 13 career saves, tied 7th all-time with Greg Young with 67 appearances. Greg Young in the 87-90 season for the Nittany Lions.
And that second pitch was high, by the way, and it's put O'Donnell in a bad position here as he now has to foul that one off to run the count to 1-2. You know, a .330 hitter, despite being over 3 today, he's very capable with 2 strikes, is O'Donnell, but not the position he wants to be in.
I'm sure we'll wait for that outside pitch. I was gonna say, I'm sure if you're a Nittany Lion fan, you'd love for it just to be done with and one more pitch, but nonetheless, a lot of people here today, part of the Wildcat faithful that would love a nice moonshot toward Welsh Ryan Arena. Thoughtful about it there. Slow roller, bobble. I don't think there was going to be a play. Bases loaded. Crowd getting excited. Ethan O'Donnell, hey, he did the job. Got on base.
Absolutely, got absolutely sawed off right here. Beautiful pitch by Mellott. Just jams the heck out of him. But like you said, that's into the triangle of death. There's no play on a runner as fast as O'Donnell from the left-handed batter's box when the second baseman is that deep. Just no chance. Even though Mellott is trying to come over, that's going to be an infield hit all the way. And now you give your best hitter, Anthony Calarco, a chance to make it happen with not only the tying run on third, but the go-ahead run on second.
Anthony Clark alone inside. You know, in the first inning, Penn State got a run on a walk. Why not return the favor?
It's very hopeful of you, Peter. I respect it.
Inside. Past first base.
Penn State way swung around to the right, by the way.
Just gonna say that.
Infield defense we see, and we've seen teams shift Calarco all year. They shifted him a lot last year as well. A guy who is a very heavy pull side hitter. And so Jay Harry is all the way on the first base side of second.
And that one outside, he was trying to get him to push. I mean, that's now that is now a Yankee Anthony Rizzo style defensive shift. As Mellott, there's another pull.
Calarco with the 2-2 count now. He's a willing strikeout victim. 32 Ks on the year is the most of any Northwestern player. And if you're Mellott here, you have to be going for the put-away pitch.
Yeah.
You can't be worried about potentially walking him on 2-2. You got to throw something that he's going to chase.
Inside, no call. Northwestern on their feet. Runners will be going. Bags jammed, full count, 2 outs. Calarco, this is your moment to break things open for the Wildcats, unless Mellott has something else to say. In the stretch, fouled it.
With the outfield as deep as it is and really pinched in right center as well, any base hit here is certainly scoring 2 with the runners going, and honestly might even score 3, depending on how quickly O'Donnell's moving from first.
I mean, as you mentioned, with such a defensive alignment specific for Calarco. Slight step out of the batter's box. In the lefty, Calarco. And Mellott, no ball called.
I was going to say, if I'm Mason Mellott, I would not be confident about going to that move, given what we saw happen earlier in this game, in this particular situation. I guess he just really didn't like the pitch call.
Fans on their feet. Miller Park, the delivery down first base, just foul.
Wow, I am not sure about that. The last hop that ball took was in fair territory. It may have crossed foul on the bag. Oh boy,
Ooh.
I think, I mean, the first base ump has a clear view down the line.
Sure.
But to me, that ball looks fair. At
Yep.
last stops in fair territory. All it's got to do is pass over a corner of the base.
Yeah,
Could be a huge break for Northwestern.
Yeah, maybe he was playing the shadow. I know sometime at this time of day that's what you play. Nonetheless, break for the Cats. Full count. Runners will go. Calarco, can he deliver? Outside, and he delivers as I jested, but nonetheless, a run for Northwestern, and they have tied things up here in the 7th with Jay Bashirs up to bat. Good take.
Yeah, just slipped out of the hand. I mean, he's going for the off speed there, is Melot, and he just lost the grip on it. Not the pitch he wanted to throw.
Pinkston scores. Jay Bashirs, base alignment. Takes that one right down the middle.
It's a good take from Bashirs. Melot has been struggling to consistently locate in this inning.
Whole new ball game. 2-2, 5 hits for the Cats. A walk, scored a run. Bases still loaded. Outside on the delivery by Melot. He grimaced after that one, possibly just in frustration. Looks to the bench, looks to the wristwatch. Bashirs takes low. That was a close call.
Yeah, working hard, almost too hard, is Matt Wood on that one. Very clearly brought the ball upwards. Sometimes that's not the best strategy.
All 3 Cats, generous leads. Bashir chops it up the middle. Should be an easy play at 2. It is for Cooper. Northwestern gets the job done, at least in the count of getting a tying run. 2 innings left to play. Noah, what a thrilling half inning that was.
Yeah, the Wildcats did a great job being consistent in their takes. 3 walks in this inning allow a run to score for Northwestern, and their bats didn't even have to do much of the work. 3 walks and infield singles all you need to tie the game. But Penn State's going to have a chance to reopen it.
Cooper, Harry, Piancento coming up for the Nittany Lions on Big Ten Plus.
Now on the mound for the Cats, left-handed pitcher, number 14, Parker Hanks.
The former 2017 Central Ozark Conference Pitcher of the Year at the high school level. Hanks is in for Northwestern, the 6'1 senior, and he's got to do the job and not allow Penn State to get that lead back.
Lone lefty in the pen for Northwestern. Parker Hanks comes in for his 4th appearance against 9-1-2 in the order into a game that Northwestern's pitchers have absolutely dominated ever since the first inning. You know, back in that first inning, as aggressive swing from Cooper sent him to the ground. Back in that first inning, Harry and Piacentino went back-to-back singles to start the game. Since those 2 singles, Peter, it's been 7 innings of 1-hit baseball for the Northwestern Wildcats pitching staff, and that lone hit was the double back in the 3rd for Matt Wood. Outside of the big slugger. No other Penn State player has hit safely since the first 2 batters of the very first inning of this game.
Yeah, that's, again, that defensive prowess of the Cats, one of the strengths of this program. That one low and outside. Again, they are 500 on the year, 13-13, looking for win 14 and the series victory. Cooper again 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Love to get something in play. 2-1. Beautiful pitch. Cooper knew that he patted himself on the chest after that one, knew that was his.
When this Wildcat bullpen gets in trouble, it's when they're walking guys. And Sauser did a great job of throwing strikes. He came in 6 up, 6 down, and Hanks so far has got back to 2-2, and now goes back to 3-2. This is what they cannot afford in this situation for Northwestern. It's putting runners on for free, because eventually you're going to get to the bat of wood in the middle of that order, and you're not going to like it if you let guys on with free passes before that point.
From the stretch, Hanks, pitch number 6, and the delivery. Swung through it, no contact. Cooper sitting down. Big K for Hanks.
And this was a tough swing for Cooper, because this ball is out of the zone, and he chases the fastball up and out for strike 3 instead of ball 4. A swing he certainly walks back.
Again, Hanks, the lefty, starts from the stretch, as many Wildcats do. The gloveless Harry. No batting gloves, no wrist guards.
No Under Armour, no nothing.
No, nothing.
He's got a wristband on, you know.
Does
It's
he?
red,
Oh.
but I think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
just for fun. Hey, maybe it's a ponytail. He's got a little bit of hair back there.
Jay Harry, 1 for 3, single, ground out, line out, and a run. Lefty on lefty. Calls for the bunt, actually gets hit as he pulls it back. That would have hit him regardless.
Yeah, it almost would have gone behind him had he not squared. That was well offline from Parker Hanks. And there's that free pass I was worried about, Pierre. Put a runner on for the middle of this order.
Yeah, yeah, you called it. I mean, he's in regular position. He would have had to jump forward to get away from it. And meeting on the mound, 1 and 3 is Piacentino.
They're going to go ahead and make a move here.
Hanks is probably going to be pulled with 9 pitches. He is. While we take a quick timeout during the pitching change, tied at 2, 1 out. In the 8th, Pete Ferreri, Noah Kaufman on Big Ten Plus.
They always want us to go to breaks on pitching changes.
Got it.
Now on the mound for the Cats, number 55, right-handed pitcher, Reed Smith.
No, pardon me.
Smith back out of Cypress, Texas. He's got a few looks this season, Noah.
10th appearance for Reed Smith. Dynamic stuff for the right-handed pitcher, but that has not often correlated to dynamic appearances, if you will. 12.54 ERA. He has allowed 14 runs, 13 of them earned in 9 1/3 innings. 12 hits, and more pressingly, 8 walks in 9 1/3 innings to go along with 12 strikeouts.
5'9" junior out of the John Cooper High School. 1-0 the count, single flyout and strikeout. 1-3 is Piacentino. Strong hack through that one. He wanted all of it and more.
That's what I'm talking about with Smith. That breaking stuff is really, really nice. It's just about whether he can get hitters to go for it when it's out of the zone.
Short lead at first, Smith. Piacentino, ground ball to third, swinging it around. Double play! Out of the jam are the Wildcats. Beautiful way to turn to, Noah.
Yeah, that's how you get 2 outs the easy way. Reed Smith, third pitch. 2 hopper to third, and this Northwestern infield continues to be sparkling defensively. Excellent turn over at second from Bashirs.
At the end of the top half of the 8th, 2-2 your score. Cats are running out of time before we go into extras. Let's see what they could do on Big Ten Plus. Calarco, Fontes, and Pinkston are the next 3 up for the Wildcats. Tied at 2, bottom of the 8th. Wouldn't they love, Noah, to get a go-ahead run to have a save opportunity in the next inning?
Absolutely, 4, 5, 6. This has been an intriguing part of the order today. Alex Calarco with a couple hits already. And then going down to the 6, 7, 8 part of the order, which is what prompted that rally last inning.
We talk about good base running ever since the mishap at third. Again, we say we hope for, if you're a Northwestern fan, doesn't come back to haunt you. At least you're tied right now, so.
Right, I mean, it's haunting you if you can't get any runs in these next 2 innings, but either way, they've certainly bounced back admirably. A huge part of that, of course, has been the staff on the pitching mound, which continues to just excel.
Malott, 14th pitch. Make that 15, that's a ball.
I mean, the thing is, you look at the guys who have pitched for Northwestern today, right? Comstock, Sauser, Hanks, and now Smith. These are 4 guys who have struggled for much of this season. All 4 come in with an ERA over 5, and all 4 have done a phenomenal job today. You just have to give credit to the Northwestern pitching staff, the back end of which has been questionable all season and has come through in a really huge game so far, and now it's the bat's turn to hold it up.
Inside low. Good take for Calarco, full count. Cats trying to get their lead off runner on. And he swings all the way through that.
After his big brother Anthony had the big walk last inning, Alex cannot quite follow it up. That was a nasty looking pitch. Looked like a changeup from Malott. Let's look at it again. Took a little bit off, maybe. Might have been just a heater. Either way, Calarco could not get to it on the inside part of the plate.
And with 1 out, taking first strike. A 208 average. Trying to boost it is Rustich. There's a defensive replacement as well in left field. That inside as well, so 2 takes to start off the at-bat.
Rustich is a guy who can move a little bit better than you might expect for somebody his size. Not a guy you necessarily want to put on base. Of course, if you're Penn State at this stage, you don't want to put anybody on base.
Fair, fair.
A little bit of a quicker base runner than a Calarco. Either one of them.
Rustich pulls it foul. Pinkston on deck. Pinkston would love to have a runner on to press the defense of the Nittany Lions. Nonetheless, 2-2 your count. Rustich pulls that one foul as well. Seen some good contact so far. Malott not shying away.
Absolutely, he's going right after these hitters. You know, we've mentioned the free passes today for both teams have been what's caused the runs, right?
Correct.
Last inning, that was the death knell for the Nittany Lions.
That's gonna be a pop fly to Cooper. Oh, actually, looks like a defensive substitution. My apologies. In for the Nittany Lions is Derek Cease at second base.
So Cease was warming up in the bullpen.
Yep.
Comes out to play second base instead, although Cooper did take his last at bat, so he is truly a defensive replacement. And makes the play on that pop-up. It's down to Pinkston.
Pinkston lines back, tests Cease again. Cease to the ground, over to first base. Spiegel. And that is going to be a quick work for Malott as he continues on for the Nittany Lions.
Big 1-2-3 inning for Malott. Pinkston hit this ball well, but Cease was right there at second base to make the play. And we head to the 9th tide, Peter. What a game we've had.
Would want it no other way on a beautiful Sunday. We'll be back 9th inning. Pete and Noah on Big Ten Plus.
Hey fans, I'm Mike Doherty. It's trivia time. See how much you know about Wildcat baseball. Fans, it's time to announce today's
Now I missed the
Wildcats
sun.
trivia winner presented by Wildfire. Congratulations to Arlene Miller. Arlene Miller, you've won a $25 Wildfire gift card available for pickup at the Purple Table on the concourse. Fans, check out the video board for today's trivia question and answer.
Number 13 for Penn State.
Stepping in number 14, Matt Wood.
Wood at the plate. Pete and Noah in the booth. 9th inning. Smith on the mound. The young Northwestern faithful, you can hear them. It's Kids Sunday cheering on their Big Ten favorite Northwestern as Matt Wood, the junior, would like to have something to say about those cheers.
I talked a lot about not pitching around people in this game. It all goes out the window when Matt Wood is at the plate. This is a time when, you know, the dreaded leadoff walk is dreaded for a reason, but
Yeah.
if you're ever going to walk somebody leadoff, it would be Matt Wood.
Yeah, Matt,
You cannot be too careful on the 2-0.
Matt Wood, big hack.
And that was a great job by Smith, right? Didn't go to the four-seam fastball right down the pipe that Matt Wood might have been expecting. Took a huge hack at it and just disappeared underneath his bat.
Bashir's shift into right field.
Huge hole between him and shortstop.
And line shot to Livermore. He has to pull back a bit and out nonetheless First out of the 9th inning for the Cats.
And that's why there was a huge hole between second and shortstop. Once again, Northwestern has it shifted perfectly. Livermore
Wow.
exactly where he needed to be.
Opinions aside on the thought of the shift.
Which technically that wasn't a shift, we should know.
Sure.
Two
You're
infielders
right.
on each side
You're
of the
right.
base.
You're right. Adjustment.
Right.
It was a beautiful adjustment.
Exactly. No, but yeah, exactly.
Cole Bartles, 0-2, hit by pitch and a flyout. 1 out, and Smith continues. As base and alignment as you're going to see. Beshears just about a step into the grass. Out to center field. Backing up on the warning track is O'Donnell. The wind helped the Cats on that. And now 2 outs.
Yeah, on a different day, it's 3-2. A lot of that one was gotten a hold of. Well, the Wildcats catch a break. O'Donnell does well to track it all the way. And it's just some warning track power instead of a 3-2 ball.
Yeah, Bartles coiled that back and delivered. Anthony Steele now. Nittany Lions have not had much success since his RBI walk in the first. Good shot into left field.
First hit since the 3rd inning for Penn State. All the way till the 9th. 6 innings without a hit until that one by Anthony Steele.
Anthony Steele now on first. Be intriguing to see how Smith handles Spiegel.
It'll be intriguing to see how the Let's Go Wildcats chants continue. Ever since you mentioned them, they have not stopped.
They have not. That's dedication to your team right there.
Gotta love it.
I think the fans know that the quicker the outs for Penn State and a possible victory. Oh, another shot into left. That's 2 to almost the same area as Spiegel gets on. 2 hits in a row after none since the 3rd. Runners at first and second, so 1 in scoring position now as Pitaro. No hits on the day, 0 for 3, 2 groundouts.
The go-ahead run in scoring position for Pitaro, and still no action in the Wildcat bullpen. It's Reed Smith's game to win or lose right here in the 9th inning.
Smith from the stretch. Does a quick look at second. Delivers. Same spot. They're sending him home. There will be a throw. Play at the plate. Easy out for the Wildcats. What a dime in left field by Rustich. He's hyped up. Let's go, Cats. Noah, what a fire.
Great throw by Rustich. This is one of the worst sends I've ever seen in my life, Peter. He's out by 45 feet. I don't understand. The pole plays in front of him. Look at how much he's out by. I do not understand the thought process here. He's sending him all the way, and the throw beats him by a half a mile.
Nonetheless, Wildcats now a chance to win in the bottom of the 9th in dramatic fashion. Let's see what they can come away with, Pete and Noah, on Big Ten Plus. Hannon of the Wildcats, as we can see, short lead at second, took a few hops,
Yeah,
rounding second.
this ball just hit too hard here.
Yeah.
It just hit too hard. You know, you don't have one of your fastest runners out on the base paths if you're Penn State. And as we get one pitch, one out here for Bianchina. Even if there was an absolute burner out there, as Brandon Franks was in as a pinch runner, but even if there's an absolute burner out there, a ball hit that hard is just not going to score a runner from second base unless, you know, it's Usain Bolt at second.
Sure.
So I didn't love the set.
Yeah, Rustich, I mean, on a dime, direct shot. Right to Santini, was able to get the out. And that's going to be a first pitch strike for Livermore. Malott still in the game. So a lot of faith for the Nittany Lions to send this one to extras, keeping Malott out there. Check, swing, strike.
I mean, from a Penn State perspective, Malott is cooking, right? There's no reason to bring somebody in at this point. He pitched a very clean 8th inning. You know he can go multiple innings. He's a 5th-year player in your program. You got to give him the green light, keep him going.
Ouch. That bounces a few feet in front of home plate. 1 and 2 year count, Tony Livermore.
And if the Wildcats could just get this inning back to the top of the order, they would feel really good about it.
Cats, 2 strikes, 1 ball, 1 out. Keeping the at-bat alive is Livermore. Malott, you know, minus the situation in the bottom of the 7th, has just been cool, calm, and collected.
And remember, in that bottom of the 7th inning,
and a nice line shot up the middle.
well,
And runner on first with 1 out. The winning run is on the base paths.
I was going to say, in that bottom of the 7th inning, he came in and got a soft ground ball from O'Donnell. Just had to be in the right place for an infield single before walking Calarco. So really, that was the first hard hit ball Northwestern has had against him. Couldn't have come at a better time. And once again, Northwestern faced with that dilemma, right? J.C. Santini.
Yep.
And once again, he's taking his at bat.
J.C. Santini, again, as discussed prior, the 167 average, 1 out. Noah, do you consider a bunt?
I would consider one, and then I would say no, but I would certainly consider it. I wouldn't hate a bunt here. It's tough to give up the 2nd out of the inning to just advance the runner to second base, even with as good of a hitter as O'Donnell coming up behind.
Malott,
I
good.
mean, yeah, good move for sure. It's not a terrible idea to bunt here, but Santini is certainly capable. I don't mean to imply that he's not capable of driving in a run or getting a big hit. So I would let your veteran catcher, let him get a shot here.
Looked bunt, pulled back. Again, my only thought process with that was, since there have been some recent struggles at the plate, you know, an advanced runner might be better than a strikeout or a double play. That was the thinking going in, but nonetheless, 1-0 the count, 1 out. Runner on first base. Cats can win in the bottom of the 9th. Nice snap over to first. Malott has a really nice snap move to first base.
Absolutely. And the Wildcats would certainly think about stealing Livermore here. He's 4 for 6 on the season.
Livermore had the single to center in the turf. Was that pitch 2-0 Livermore? Let's see if he gets a bit more aggressive. The first throw to first, a little bit closer than the second.
Remember, Matt Wood is a catcher, 4 for 19, catching runners stealing. Not great, not, well, pretty bad, really. Not where he wants to be.
Bunt attempt pulled inside. Santini's getting the troops fired up.
I think that was a fake bunt all the way, too. I think that was a showing bunt to try to throw the pitcher off situation. I don't think he's going to lay one down 2-0. And certainly, and I like this from Matt Wood, go out, calm your pitcher down, make him take a breath here, because right now he just seems a bit flustered. And on 3-0, I mean, Santini has a red light here, and I think he's giving himself a red light. I don't think he wants to swing in this situation when you have the chance to advance the runner without even moving the bat off your shoulder.
Sure. Short and second. So Harry and Cease are playing close for that double play opportunity, so there is some space. Pulls it in, and there's the strike.
We just saw a shot of Jacob Scharm warming up at the Penn for Northwestern. Would likely come in should this game go to extras. Just caught the inside corner.
It sure did. Nittany Lions hoping it goes to extras. Malott up until this at bat. I mean, the prior Livermore was a good shot up the middle. Pulls back, thought about the same thing. So a lot of
chicanery.
There, good word, good word.
But here's an interesting spot for Santini, right? 3-2 count. He's a guy who strikes out plenty. 20 Ks on the season in only 52 at-bats. He's got to get the bat on the ball.
And doesn't there. Pump fake to first base. And Santini from a 3-0 count with 3 straight dimes from Malott. And Ethan O'Connell now. Last hope for the Cats in the bottom half of this inning to continue on.
Well, I just said if you can get to O'Donnell, you're feeling good about this inning. And just giving your top of the order a chance is huge.
Strike outside. O'Donnell knew it was there. Confirming with the ump.
Remember, O'Donnell plenty capable of putting the ball over the fence himself. 6 homers to go along with 18 doubles on the season for the sophomore.
And it's going to be a grounder to Cease to Spiegel. And just like that, Noah, we got extra innings.
Yeah, I'm excited, Peter. This game has been hotly contested all the way down to the wire. The pitcher's duel continues. Great job by Malott to work out of this jam and coax the ground out of O'Donnell to end the 9th as we head to the 10th.
Free baseball coming your way. Pete Ferrari, Noah Kaufman on Big Ten Plus.
Now on the mound for the Wildcats, right-handed pitcher, number 22, Jay Bashirs.
Yeah, his stats just updated. 1.2 innings pitched, 4 Ks.
Gerlot, Cooper, Harry, the first 3 up for the Nittany Lions. New pitcher on the mound, moving from second base to the mound is going to be Bashirs, Noah.
Yeah, Jay Bashirs making his 3rd appearance of the season. Those stats are lying to you. He's thrown 1 2/3 innings, just the 1 hit allowed to go along with 4 Ks. They brought in Patrick Herrera behind him at second base to fill that hole. Bashirs has one of the 2 saves for Northwestern this season. Very capable 2-way player.
Billy Gerlot, again, we talk about how he has 1 hit this weekend, and it was the game sealer yesterday afternoon in the doubleheader. 0 for 3 with a ground out here. As you mentioned, Noah not really finding himself at the plate. I am sure the Nittany Lions would love for him to come through here. He has a good shot. Nice, Dave Livermore over to Calarco.
How about this Northwestern infield defense, Pete? Making plays all over the place. Livermore had a couple earlier, yesterday as well. And that's just an outstanding snag. For a second, I was about to say, well, Gerlachis has a flair for the dramatic, apparently.
Yeah.
But Livermore even more so.
Well,
Excellent play.
yeah, it takes a certain type of DNA to be able to come through in the clutch and not just wither away, and he showed it yesterday, so I wasn't going to question if he came through again today. As Derek Cease is up.
The battle of the second baseman / right-handed pitchers.
Correct. Yeah, you talked about, and for those of you just joining us now, bonus baseball. Cease 160 was warming up in the bullpen about an hour ago, and now is at the plate and fouls one to right.
And remember, Bashirs is due up second next inning in the bottom of the 10th, and you better believe he's hitting for himself. So
Oh, absolutely.
he has the chance to earn his own win in a way that pitchers rarely do. A
Gotta love
Shohei
it.
Ohtani-style double win where he pitches the top of the 10th and then seals it in the bottom with a hit.
Cease fouls it away, same spot. It's one of the great things about college baseball, especially that of the Big Ten. Great hitting, great pitching.
And just enough two-way players, you know, there's a couple of them. Bashirs and Cease not alone.
Cease standing 5'8". Watches that one go outside. One and two. Extra innings. Both teams 6 hits. Both teams 2 runs. As evenly matched a game as you're going to see this season in the Big Ten. Inside, scooching out of the way is Cease.
One funny little thing, Bashirs has his card on his belt like a position player would,
Yeah.
and not on his arm like most pitchers do. I wonder, it's sort of unique. He's looking down at his
He
belt
sure
to
is.
look at the signs.
Pitch was almost there, no call.
That's a tough one. Santini certainly sold it.
Yeah, 6 pitches so far for Bashirs. The tall, slender second baseman now on the mound for the Cats. And the delivery. Low and inside, and Cease is going to be on with 1 out.
First walk of the season allowed by Bashirs, and just 2 innings of work, but still not a situation where he wanted to allow it with the top of the order due up coming next.
Yeah, a little bit mishandle for Jay Harry. Harry, the top of the order. 1 for 3 on the afternoon with a hit.
In your classic J on J matchup here.
Always love when you get to say things like that. Lefty on lefty, J on J. And a line shot fair into the right field corner. They're going to send them. Nope, they're going to change their mind. They learned their lesson after the last
Right.
time. And they hold Cease at third, 1 out, runners in scoring position at second. And third, the Nittany Lions threatening with 1 out in the 10th.
And this is a good hold. It's close. It's close. I think there's a chance that Cease makes it in. But Northwestern's relay was on target, and a good throw at home gets Cease relatively easily. You have the middle of your order coming up. You don't need to run yourself out of an inning. Excellent piece of hitting, by the way, by Jay Harry, just letting the hands flow, becoming the first player in this game to get 2 hits. And you can see Cease steaming around third.
Yep.
But held up.
At the dish. 1 and 4 for the afternoon single flyout strikeout for Johnny Piacentino.
Infield in at all 4 positions for Northwestern. Outfield also relatively in for a pretty good hitter in Piacentino.
Trying to prevent a run from scoring. Top of the 10th. Tall stance for Johnny. Inside ball.
We all know who's waiting on deck by now. The specter of Wood in the on-deck circle looms large. This is not a place where you want to fall too far behind.
Correct, and you don't want to necessarily intentional walk.
Well, you would love to get the chance
Piacentino
to
as well.
intentionally walk Wood, but you got to get Piacentino out first.
That
Yeah.
point, exactly. With runners at second and third, there is one thing to worry about, and that is the hitter at home plate. If you are a fan of Penn State, one good swing of the bat could break this open with 2 runs to score. Top of the 10th. Bashirs at the mound. After a walk and a double. And that is going to right field. Will it be enough? Let's see if they do. They send, and that should be, oh! He's saying he's out! My goodness, a double play! What a dime from right field!
Pinkston with a laser.
Goodness.
That is a laser from Andrew Pinkston in right. I don't know how he makes this throw. Sending Cease all the way here, and Pinkston lines it up beautifully, puts it right on the money, and they say the tag is applied. It's tough to see on that angle, but it looks like Santini does get the back of Cease.
Let's see if we have it from this angle. Outstanding camera work by the Big Ten Plus crew as he's coming around, and let's see if he gets them. And he does.
Yeah, great call. He gets the back right there at the top of the back. He gets the back on the swipe tag.
In between the 1 and the 9, Noah.
Excellent work by both Santini and Pinkston. That is a sensational throw from Pinkston in right.
As we see one more time, the outstretched glove of Santini. Beautiful job. Out of a jam, we're going to see if the Cats can take it home in the bottom of the 10th. Unless Penn State wants to go to 11, we'll find out. Pete and Noah, Big Ten Plus.
Leading off the bottom of the 10th for the Wildcats, number 20, Anthony Calarco.
Cats fan Molot, still the faith and trust of the Nittany Lions in extras. Pete Ferreri, Noah Kaufman, Big Ten Plus. First pitch, Calarco drives it to center. And Piacentino gets the glove around it. Again, that wind pushing that ball in, Noah.
Absolutely. I mean, that ball was going to be a routine fly ball, but it ended up a long run for Piacentino. Calarco just gets under this one. I mean, this is a home run swing that he misses by a fraction of an inch. Malott served it up for him, but he just couldn't quite get it. And now a chance to see if Bashirs can win his own game.
Shears watches that one over the middle. 357 average, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. Going outside. On deck, Herrera.
Go get it.
Jay sends that one foul. Again, we talked about Herrera's in playing second base as Bashirs went back to the mound. Bashirs would like to end it, as you said, the opportunity, Noah, to get the win and walk-off. Strong stroke to left field. That'll stay fair. Roundy second is Bashirs. He'll have a stand-up double with 1 out in the bottom of the 10th for the Wildcats.
Pitch is shut down inning at the top of the 10th. Come up and hit a 1-out double at the bottom of the 10th. That's Jay Bashirs. Excellent piece of hitting. Just stayed through that ball, drove it to left. Didn't try to do too much with that. Got the hands through it and just served it up for a double. And now, what a spot to make your first appearance for Patrick Herrera. Remember, Northwestern lost the DH by bringing Bashirs into pitch, so they can no longer have Alex Calarco hit cleanup. It has to be Herrera hitting in this 4 spot because Bashirs is now hitting for himself as a pitcher in the 3-hole. So Herrera's first at bat of the game comes with a chance to win the game.
Pat Herrera, 6'1", freshman, Mesa, Arizona, Skyline High School. He would love to get an opportunity. 7 walks on the year, 5 RBIs. Why not get a nice single, get that sixth RBI
And head on home.
and head on home.
You want me following the hit?
Nittany Lions trying to find a way with Malott still on the mound from the stretch. Inside, good take for the Cats.
Rustich waiting on deck. And Pinkston, the hero from the top of the inning, in the hole.
Think about this, two beautiful throwouts at home from left and right field in almost as many innings, Noah.
Yeah, from the two guys who are coming up
Correct.
next. Yeah. Now, I will say, not that Rustich didn't make a wonderful throw, but his was a much lower degree of difficulty
Yeah.
than Pinkston's, who really had to put it exactly on the money. Rustich had a much bigger margin for error, although he did deliver a beautiful dime.
Rare check swing, that'll go. But yeah, I mean, my goodness, when we talk about what Pinkston was able to do, I mean, there was no margin of error.
Yeah. And he threw it, it was a missile, and it was right on the money.
Herrera swings through. Pat Herrera, number 7. Knee-high socks, black batting gloves, white cleats, hoping to come away with a victory. Outside, good take. 39 pitches for Malott, Noah, but
Yeah.
he can get that number up, and Penn State's not worried about it.
Absolutely. They're running him until he's empty right now.
And a walk for Herrera. On a full count, runners at first and second. Not the worst if you think about it, in the fact that at least now you can force a standard double play without, just getting a single out at first. So, trying to find the caveat about it.
It does not look like Rob Cooper is signals to the bullpen here. I think we're just having a conversation, Penn State is. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a double play situation with the guy who can be doubled up in Steven Rustich. But the thing is, if you're Penn State, I mean, you can't be worried about a bunt here, I don't
Sure.
think. I don't think you can be worried about a bunt because there's 2 out and there's one out and 2 on.
Yeah.
A bunt doesn't do that much for you. So I wonder what the meeting is for, if not to just, give them a lot of chance to calm things down a little bit. I don't know what else Northwestern would really be doing in this situation. Maybe a double steal or something, but I mean, it's Rustich is up
Sure.
to try to win the game. I think that's about it.
I think, nonetheless, you at least are making Penn State think about what are they talking about.
Right.
What could
Well,
be happening?
here's the thing as well. The outfield is relatively deep now, coming in a little bit, especially in right field. I was worried they're so deep, it's going to be tough for them to throw out Bashirs on a single.
Rustich, number 13. The righty pulls it! Going! Gone! Ain't no grave can hold my body down! Steven Rustich, the throw out to keep Northwestern alive, and the walk-off 3-run bomb! Bang! Northwestern wins! Pour the Gatorade! Noah, what a game!
Unbelievable scenes here at Miller Park. Steven Rustich jumps on a first pitch right in his wheelhouse and just gets every bit of it. We mentioned his home run hitting prowess, 4th of the year in limited playing time. This man hits him with the best of them, and he was running hard out to first, but that thing cleared the hill behind the left field fence. The only question was whether it would stay fair. It did, and Northwestern wins their 2nd consecutive series to start Big Ten play in dramatic fashion.
Let's go, says Rustich. Had found his way from the starting lineup to the bench. We talked about what is it going to take to get him back with more playing time, and without a shirt, getting in the line to shake the hands of the Nittany Lions. My goodness, what a thrilling end of this game. The end, Wildcats 4, Penn State 2 are the way things are going to end here today. On behalf of Noah Kaufman, Peter Ferrari, Cats win on Big Ten Plus.